you
It's
know,
going.
it's
It's going.
going.
How's it going,
Yeah,
Shelby?
Well,
it's going pretty
I
well. Yeah, it's a
Right.
good night. It's not too hot out, and we're gonna get into some grand tournament card review. It's gonna be pretty real.
I am
Pretty
excited.
excited. Yeah.
First things
I,
first, I'm the realist.
Are we gonna fight about
that,
this? I mean, what if
Sorry.
I'm the realist?
Sorry, I'll stop. We don't have time for a fight, Shelby. There's 132 cards to go.
132 cards hitting
God.
you next Monday. Well, this Monday,
Yes.
August 24th, 3
3
days from this.
people.
Yep. So if you haven't taken a look at all of the cards, or maybe if you're like me and you sort of looked through them a couple times but didn't really stop to think about them too much, we are going to come at you with a rapid fire, like 30-second to 45-second per card. Hopefully that's the goal.
If you guys watched when I was on Shevik's stream for his epic TGT review marathon, this is not going to be like that.
No,
This is going to be much more condensed, but
Yes.
just as good.
Yes,
Yeah.
not 8 hours long, not 4 hours long. We're gonna try to keep it to like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Get all the cards done, stay on topic. It's gonna be real. Okay, so with that being said, shall we start? So you want to go for the first card? You want to do this? Okay, and I have to give you guys at home a little warning. So the first 20 cards or so are gonna be formatted a little bit funny. They're gonna be kind of like bigger and off center. I apologize for that. The last 112 cards are going to be perfectly the same size and on center, so don't hate me, internet. I'm sorry. I
Bear with us,
apologize.
guys.
Okay,
Apologize.
so with that being said, here's like a very large card. Fallen Hero. Yeah, we got to see this card a little bit with the new Grand Tournament Brawl released. I thought it was pretty sweet being able to ping off those 2 drops. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think it's great, and also the art's really great for it too. I love the
Yeah.
that's my thing. Like God, aesthetics.
I know.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
I
overlook
just
that
love
sometimes.
the purple. No, I like it. I like it a lot. And it actually stacks. So if you have 2 of them on the field, then your hero power deals 3 damage as a mage. So, I mean, and if you don't get a chance to use your hero power, if you just play it on turn 2 and it gets killed, it's a Bloodfen Raptor. So not bad.
Yep.
I like it.
Good. All right. Boom. Next. North Sea Kraken.
All right, I love this one. One, I mean, it's automatically, it's a big game hunter target, but it hits the ground swinging, so you're playing it, and you're going to be able to do 4 damage to one, which is basically a soft removal. You can get rid of most medium range minions that are on the board, and then if it does get the big game hunter, that sucks. But if not, you're getting to hit the face for 9, which is great. I love this card personally.
Yeah.
I do like this card. I think this card's going to be a solid pick in Arena. It's sort of like a fire elemental, but like giant. It's going to take your entire turn, of course, but I think in Arena, when you're looking for some of those big drops to fill out your curve, this is going to be really nice. In Constructed, not so much. Definitely not top tier, but definitely in Arena, going to be some fun.
Super hyped to pick this for Arena. Okay. Sky Cap Crag.
Sky Captain Crag. All right. 7 mana, 4/6 charge. Costs 1 less for each friendly pirate. I like this guy. I think he's fun. We haven't seen any pirate decks in a long time, except for when I got trolled by Firebat with a pirate rogue deck. That was fun. He admitted to it, by the way. It was actually Firebat trolling me with a pirate rogue deck.
Yes.
But I think, I mean, it's going to take a little testing. We're going to have to see where exactly it fits. And I think it might maybe be a little weak if we don't get some more pirate synergy, but I like this card. I think he's a cool addition.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to be able to mess with some more pirate stuff. Who doesn't like more pirates? And I love the charge.
Yes, and it is interesting that most of the pirates upcoming for this meta are in the rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue specifics.
Pirate Rogue making a comeback. All right.
So you heard it first.
Ball
Firebat.
of
Get on it.
Spiders. Yeah, Firebat ahead of the time, per usual. Ball of Spiders. I can't get behind this card. I have had arguments with my roommates about whether or not this card is good. I just think it's too slow. I don't care about a bunch of 1/1s, even if I do get 3 cards back in my hand. I guess I'm just thinking about Arena. I'm like, man, there are so many other things I want to do on turn 6 that don't involve putting 3 1/1s on the board. I don't know.
Okay, wait, your roommates were arguing for this card?
Yes.
Your roommates are wrong.
Right? Thank you. I will
It's
let
just
them know.
this card is so bad.
I honestly
card
feel
is
like
just
if
so
it was
bad.
maybe a 4 cost, it could be better, but just 6 cost is too much for too little of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm on
exactly.
board. Don't like
Bad
it.
card.
Bad card. All right. Koldara Drake.
All right, so one, I'm hyped because it's a dragon, and I always am hyped because it's a dragon. But the thing that I do have to say about this is it's a Koldara Drake. You can use your hero power any number of times. So with the current Inspire meta, yeah, that's cool. But the thing that you have to be careful of is when it hits the ground at 6, yeah, its effect says you can use your hero power any number of times, but you have no mana left. So unless you're playing it sort of late game, this has no tempo behind it, and it's probably going to die before you get an effect off. So I think it does have a great effect and will work well when it does get to see synergetic play. I think it may be overhyped in the sense that it will not get to do what it says it's going to do as often as you hope it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this card has good potential, but a little bit difficult to use.
Yeah, maybe too slow for the current meta, but the meta's gonna be crazy, and
Who knows
who
what
knows?
the meta's going to be?
Who knows?
So,
Yeah.
that'll be fun to figure out.
Okay, lock and load.
All right, lock and load. 2 mana Hunter Epic. Each time you cast a spell this turn, add a random Hunter card to your hand. I feel like this card was so hyped up when they did the original review with at the Foundry or whatever.
Yeah, the crowd booed when they showed it.
That whole big review. I thought people were like, this is so broken. This is going to make Hunter even better. I don't think it's actually that broken. I think from a little bit of experience in the Tavern Brawl this week, I think it's a decent card. I mean, if you play it and you end up getting a bunch of cheap spells from it and then you just keep getting cards on your turn, then that's really broken. But I feel like that's sort of not going to happen very often. So I think it's solid. I think it actually slows down the Hunter deck a little bit and gives it sort of a new turn, which I think is what we've all been hoping for. So I'm just happy to see a different style of Hunter, frankly.
Yeah, I think it's going to encourage that different style of Hunter as well. Garrison Commander. You can use your hero power twice on your turn. I think that's fine. I think we're seeing a lot of these different hero power, inspire things, obviously is the center of this set. It's really nice to be able to ping things off twice and, just get one more little bit of value. The instinct is to try to combo this with the other cards like the Koldara Drake. I still think that's too slow. You're piecing together all these combo cards that are nice and magical Hearthstone Christmas land, but maybe not actually viable in real Hearthstone pessimistic land.
Cards may be really exciting, it may be a great new meta shift, but tempo is a thing. And if you're dropping that down on turn 2, again, you can't use your hero power the same turn you drop it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely. A little slow.
A little slow. Okay. Draenei? Totem Carver.
Draenei Totem Carver. Yes. Okay. So anyone who knows me knows that shamans are my thing. Like, I love shaman. I've been really waiting for them to hit the meta, and I feel like this card and the cards that are coming along do a lot of good for that. I mean, first and foremost, it's balanced. So it's a 4-cost 4/4 that's going to hit the field and be a nice mid-range solid body, but it also is going to buff itself up automatically for any friendly totem, and the current meta for shaman is going to be very heavy with the totems. So I'd like to say, I can't guarantee, because shaman has a lot of cards that work well now, but then don't really get played very well together.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say that this has a lot of really great potential and could really revive the shaman a lot.
I hope so. I think it does have that potential, absolutely.
Yeah, I like this card. Although my only thing is, if you're playing it on 4, then that means for it to gain any value, your 2 and 3 would have had to be totems, which is kind of bad. I mean, there's the I believe it's the Totem Golem, which is the 2 mana 3/4 Overload 1 totem. So I mean, that on 2 would be great, and then maybe this on 4. So I think it's going to have some synergy, but I can't really see it being anything more than like a 5/5 max a 6/6 on turn 4. But I mean, for a 4-drop, that's still really good.
So
good.
Value.
I like this one.
Value
yeah,
tab.
exactly.
Maiden of the Lake.
All right, Maiden of the Lake, 4 mana 2/6. Your hero power costs 1. So this is sort of what they're trying to combo with, like the Koldara Drake and the Garrison Commander and everything to make your hero powers. You can, if you're a mage, you can do 10 hero powers in a turn on turn 10 if you have this in the Koldara Drake. Like, that's insane. In reality, it's not. I mean, it's not bad. 2/6 for a 4 isn't great, but it's okay. It's sort of equivalent to like a 4/4, just a different spread. And then your hero power costing 1, so on turn 5 you can play a 2/6 and a hero power, which is like, it's. I mean, I'd rather play a 5-drop, but it's not bad. I think this definitely makes the combos that they were going for possible. Without this, it's just not going to happen. So I think this is definitely an essential card for what Blizzard was trying to get at with this set. I think it's definitely going to take some testing to figure out just how good it is. So this one's a little up in the air for me.
I agree, but I agree completely, but I do feel like of the ones that came out and are sort of kind of gimmicky and we don't know exactly how well they work, this one might be a little better, a little more consistent because it does have the higher health, it costs less, it has the potential to stay on the board a little bit longer than a 6/6. But it is a super bad Cabal Shadow Priest target, so that's something to be
That's
careful.
true. That's true.
Good point.
Priest OP.
Okay, Silver Hand Regent. 3 for 3/3, already like fairly good balanced stats. Inspire someone a 1/1 Silver Hand recruit. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, you can be pumping out two Silver Hand recruits. So this on turn 5 is 5 mana and 5 power and toughness spread out across 3 different bodies, which is kind of nice. And then you can obviously combo that with Quartermaster and other things. I think that Blizzard's really trying to push like this, I want to call it white weenies because that's what it's called in Magic, but just like lots of little tiny creatures that just like swarm for Paladin. And I'm super excited to see that happen because that's one of my favorite deck archetypes. So I hope that it works out.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is it strikes me as a little bit odd that it's a neutral because, I mean, honestly, what deck are you going to see this in other than Paladin?
I don't know.
Maybe a Blue Center or something.
Any deck that just loves 1/1s. I don't know.
Yes!
Bloodlust Shaman.
Hobgoblin meta.
Not bad. It might be kind of cool to see this, thrown into anything that needs minions. I don't know. It's an interesting card. It's something we haven't seen before, and I think the fact that it is a neutral just makes it even more a little weird, but not bad. 3/3 is a good stat line for 3 mana and kind of a neat effect. So
Yeah, cool for Arena as well.
yeah, definitely.
Tuskar Totemic.
Alright, I promise that we did not plan for me to get all the shots.
Just a happy accident.
But it's another one that I'm really, skipped way ahead to something else. I'm very pleased with this card. I think that, it's putting out, just like you said, Cora, what are the odds that you're going to have the totems lined up for the 4-drop? Well, if you play this one, if you happen to play them in tandem, you've got this and you've got the totem on field to go ahead and buff the turn 4. I just love that it's not only spitting out the totems, but it's offering a wider range of synergy between the different totem formats of the cards that we're seeing released. So I have a lot of hope for this card as well.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. Like I was saying, to have to totem on turn 2 and turn 3 to get value with another card is just going to put you way too behind. So this, you get a minion, you get the totem as well, you get the totem synergy, but you don't have to waste your turn just playing a totem. So I think this is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Frost Giant.
Frost Giant, 10 mana, 8/8, costs 1 less for each time you used your hero power this game. This card I think is a little bit up in the air still because people were initially like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good in Handlock. Warlocks, use their hero power all the time. But realistically, Warlocks use their hero power for Handlock the first 2 to 3 turns. And then every turn after that, they want to have a mana efficient play. And I don't think this card is quite good enough to be a giant in the Handlock deck. I mean, Handlocks aren't just going to get rid of Mountain Giants and Molten Giants for this. And then even some decks are cutting, Mountain Giants altogether and just keeping Molten Giants. So if Mountain Giants aren't even good enough, then Frost Giant's not going to be good enough. But I think this card is good. This is a good card. It's just I don't think it's good in the obvious way that people were thinking it's really good. So I want to see this card in a deck. I think this card is going to find a place because it is a good card. I just don't think it's where everybody thought it was going to be.
And this is a card that when it drops in your arena draft, you're gonna be like, yes, do that.
Value.
Because then when you have to hero power on turn 2, you're like, oh well, this isn't as bad because I've got a Frost Giant.
Aha! Super secret side deck. Totem Golem. All right, I'm gonna get a Shaman card this time. 2 for 3/4 Overload 1. I mean, man, the fact that this can drop from a Shredder is just like, Craigrasm. I also love the art on it. That's really cool. It's the first time I noticed that. I just really think that Totem Shaman is going to become a viable deck. I think it just has such perfect combination pieces. I mean, it's not a combo deck, but it's just everything is strong on its own, but then also becomes stronger. I really like that we're going to be able to see like the totem sort of tribal come out. That's the first thing that I'm gonna build as soon as Monday comes and I get out of work. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna build Totem Shaman, and Latoan is going to be super happy.
Yes.
Shaman's got such a buff in this.
Yep.
It was like priests and shamans were the weak ones, and priest got a little bit shafted, and shaman's got such good cards. And I think shaman is gonna, like, honestly, I think the top two tier decks after this are gonna be like control warrior, and then I think shaman's gonna be right up there. So I'm really excited also to play some shaman decks. I think it's gonna be really fun.
All right, so that means we are headed back to me again. So this is Tournament Medic. 4 cost, 1/8 Inspire, restore 2 health to your hero. And this is a neutral, but I am already afraid of the priest decks that are going to be running this. I mean, it's going to be insane, especially when they buff it up. It's basically going to be like a 1 higher cost Death Lord that heals them and doesn't worry about like them having to get it hit. But in general, I think that we're going to find there are better 4-drops that we could play. It's still really nice, though. I mean, I don't know that I would see it in a lot of decks in Constructed, but I do think that the ability to restore 2 health to your hero every time you do it, unless it gets Cabal Shadow Priest or Shadow Word Pain or just like Instant Silence or something. I think it's a nice card. I just don't think it's like one of the ones that are coming in swinging hard with this current release.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just question how much health to the face the priest is really going to need. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like priests are sort of always at a high health until, like, you burst them down, or so it feels like. I don't know. I just feel like 4 mana for a 1/8 is weak, and then 2 health to your hero isn't a great incentive. With some buffs, I think this would be strong, but then that's saying, well, on turn 4 I have to play this, and then on turn 5 I'm dedicated to buffing it. So, I don't know. I think this one's it's a wacky card.
I feel it's a little gimmicky.
I like wacky cards.
Yeah.
All right, Effigy.
Effigy, 3 mana mage secret. When a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion with the same cost. I really like this card. I think this card is really cool, and I think it goes along really well with this whole theme of the Grand Tournament because this card is really fun. It's got some RNG built in, but it's sort of like a Recombobulator Death Rattle type thing. And I mean, I would totally. I'm gonna try this out in a mage deck because I think this card is really solid.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see more secrets. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I'm really eager to try it out in Grinder's Mage too, just like the potential when you get towards the late game of what.
Yeah,
exactly
I mean, say like your heal bot dies and you have Effigy, well then you get the 5 mana card instead of a 3/3. Like it's just really good value on minions that might not be quite as good. So yeah, I like this card a lot.
The only thing I can say really quickly is like just be careful. It's one of those that you're gonna have to be careful about getting pulled out by the mad scientist because it's just like, well, this can get brought out into the early game, and then you're gonna get shafted really hard by the RNG of what it's gonna pull out. So it's one of those that I feel like you may want to be able to control when you play it versus random pulling out.
Yeah, mad scientist. Then you get a doomsayer. Whoops.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh man.
Oh yeah, rip.
That will happen. The children
Oh yeah, Trolden's gonna get on that first week. Okay, Thunder Bluff Valiant. 5 for a 3/6 Inspire. Give your totems +2 attack. I mean, these are the combo pieces that I'm talking about. 5 for a 3/6. Not necessarily the greatest stats, but also not terrible. I really like that it has a bigger health. You know, I'm really coming to realize how important that toughness is for cards in Hearthstone. So I mean, I love that it can pick off some of the smaller stuff. You can, you know, 2 for 1 with some of the aggro decks, while also just being able to trade like a healing totem in to a 3/2 is like insane value, absolutely insane value. I think it's going to see a lot of play in arena as well. I mean, I know it's a rare, but I think it's going to be valuable in arena for shamans. I think I can't really picture another rare that I would pick over this if I'm playing shaman, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I like this one. I think it's definitely one of the valuable combo pieces.
Yeah.
But,
Lowly Squire.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, alright, Inspire gain +1 attack. Well, automatically, I feel like, after seeing it, especially in Tavern Brawl, I feel like this is guaranteed to be a staple in, at the very least, Inspire decks, and in probably a lot of decks that just want a solid 1-drop, because you're dropping it, and it's going to keep getting buffed every time you use your hero power, especially in the slower decks that don't have much to do other than their hero power for the first few turns. So it's a nice body that drops the field. You don't have to worry about it getting the healing off. I'm not saying it's going to replace the Chow, but I feel it could be potentially a nice staple in the place of Chow for many decks that do rely on like the early hero power turns.
I could see it replacing Chow in some decks.
Oh yeah, in some decks.
Definitely in some decks. I feel like a lot of decks are gonna. I mean, Chow is a 1-mana 2/3, and then you on turn 2 can play something instead of hero power. So I think definitely in inspire centric decks where you want to hero power, this will be the choice. But in every other deck, it's gonna be Zombie Chow hands down. And even in some inspire decks, it still might be Zombie Chow, just because it's Zombie Chow. I mean,
Yeah,
it's Zombie Chow.
It's Zombie Chow. Okay, just a card, True Heart. Oh.
Just a card, True Heart. Oh, what a fun card. 6 mana, 6/3, Battle Cry. Replace your starting hero power with a better one. And they don't specify what the better one is, but basically it like doubles the effect of your hero power. So like warriors gain 4 armor, priests heal for 4, druids get 2 attack and 2 armor, things like that.
But hunters only get
pick
3.
their totem.
Hunters only get 3 damage.
Right.
Wait, shamans get to pick their totem?
Shamans
That's
get to
cool.
pick their totem.
And it doesn't matter if you already have that totem on the board.
I'm putting Taunt Totem every game.
Yep.
No, this card is fun. This card is really fun, and I think this card is hopefully going to get tried out. And you know what? 6 mana for a 6/3. The body's bad, but the body's not really what you're looking for this one. You're looking
It's the
for
ground.
exactly in a control deck. You're looking to play this card, and then every turn after this, you're getting value, and you're going to have the advantage over your opponent. So like the 6/3 body is sort of just a bonus.
Right.
If you look at it that way.
I think to say that it's hopefully going to get tried out, I ripped my glasses off in rage when you said that. I'm like, of course it's going to be tried out. This is going to be in like so many
Well,
decks.
no,
This is going to be
I'm
the new
saying-
6-drop.
I'm saying it because like I want people to play this card because this card is fun. But I feel like a lot of people have been like 6 mana on turn 6. I don't want to play a 6/3. That's terrible. But I'm like,
Yeah.
you gotta look to the
The
future.
big
Yeah.
picture. Come on, control decks, man. Control decks last
Yeah.
so much longer
Yep.
than turn 10.
If I don't get this in my packs, this is my first craft. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like this one. Fun stuff.
Okay, Kodo Rider. I was just talking about this with one of my roommates the other day. So 6 mana, 3/5, Inspire Summon, a 3/5 War Kodo. So I really like this card for Arena, which is funny because it's an epic, so I'm never going to see it in Arena. I don't think I'm ever going to see it in Constructed either. I really like the idea that you can just sort of like pop out 3/5s all the time. I think when you're in top deck mode in Arena, this card is insane, but I mean, how often am I going to see... I mean, I play 2 Arena runs every day. I'm going to see this card like twice, and I'm going to be happy about it, but it's not going to, impact my Arena day-to-day life. So I don't think I will get to see this card or experience this card. I think this is going to be a card that I forget exists in a month or 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a card that looks like it has so much value and it has so much potential, but then like 6 mana, and then you're like, oh.
And to activate,
Well,
you gotta do the hero power.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really it's an 8-drop, so on turn 8,
You get 2 3/5s or a Ragnaros. Huh.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll pick Rag pretty much
Yep.
every time. Okay, Wilfred Fizzlebang.
Cards you toss
I love
from
this
your-
one.
You're a trifling gnome. if you are a World of Warcraft person, then you know like Jiraxis and Wilfred Fizzlebang, like he's the one that summons and yada yada. Lots of lore, lots of fun there, which is why Jiraxis is featured on the back. I
Yes.
think the effect is amazing. I'm just not sure how I feel about it being a 6 cost. I don't know. I'm not sure with there being so many other 6-drops if this will see as much play as we might hope, because the effect is like, oh yes, Gregasm, look at that, 0 cost, any spell, 0 cost Jiraxis, 0 cost Giants. It's amazing, but still, 6 cost, and then you have to keep it alive. It's only a 4/4, which does keep it out of the Shadow Words, but still, it's only a 4/4 for 6 cost, and then if it dies, you don't get any benefit from that. So, I think it's exciting when it'll work, but again, I don't know how often we will see it work successfully.
Yeah.
Maybe
This card will be
Zen, Nerf.
Yeah, exactly. No, this card will be amazing when it works, but it's not even really a 6-drop. It's an 8-drop. You're not playing this on turn 6. You're playing this on turn 8. And then if you play it on turn 8 and then you tap into a Mortal Coil and then it gets killed, you're like, well, that sucked.
That was fun.
So
That was
when
your
you
whole-
do tap into a Jiraxis or a Mountain Giant, you're like, best card ever. Playing this card all
Yeah,
the time.
And then you get
Right.
untrolled in and everything's great, but 99
Yes.
or not 99, but like a majority of the time it's going to be aggressively
Ancient
average.
a
the card
Sun
that you
Fury
get.
Protector. And
So
you're just like,
like 0 cost.
Great.
like, meh.
Thanks. But it's so cool.
But it's so fun. But I love it. But
Okay, next is champion Sarad.
5 mana, 4/5, neutral legendary, inspire, add a random spell to your hand. This card is hella fun. No, this card is super, super fun. Like, they featured this in the original TGT, like, announcement stream, and then this is in, I think it's in the Mage Tavern Brawl this week. This card is super fun, and I feel like they're really, really pushing it because of the inspire mechanic, and I feel like this has sort of the same problem as Wilfred Fizzlebang. It's not really a 5-drop, it's a 7-drop, because you don't want to play a 4/5 on turn 5, and you want to get the spell right away. So it's like a 7-drop for 4/5, and like 1 damage if you're a mage is like, meh. And then, I mean, if you add a Flame Strike to your hand, or if you add like a Lay on Hands, you're like, best card ever. I'm playing this card every time. This is a great card. And then when you get Eye for an Eye or Moonfire, you're just like, this sucks. I hate this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like this is the one that could go either way again. And it's really fun, but sometimes you're just going to lose the game because of it.
It's just so cool, though. Like,
It's just so cool. I love it.
It's awesome.
It's fun. He's got like a laser sword, and it's great.
Oh, it's amazing.
Ethereals.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay.
Alright.
Poisoned Blade, I think has been like unanimously decided as the worst card from this set. 4 for a 1/3. Your hero power gives this weapon +1 attack instead of replacing it. Like, oh my god, it's so bad. Like, it's just, it's unplayably bad. So I guess they were just thinking they had to give Rogue a way to turn on the Inspire mechanic, because like it just doesn't work with Rogue. Because why would you want to make a new weapon?
They literally just made Rogue want to turn off the Inspire mechanic. This card sucks.
There aren't going to be Rogue inspired decks. That's just not going to be a thing. And I guess they were like, well, in case someone really wants to do it, like, we'll give you this epic card. But it's just, we should just stop talking. It's terrible. Like, there's
This
nothing
card
more to
is
say.
literally going to take 8 mana to be 1 durability better than a Fiery War Axe.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
No. Don't want it.
Not good.
Not playing it. Sucks.
Nope. It's bad and you should feel bad. Okay, moving on.
It's bad.
Coliseum
bad
Manager.
Alright, speaking of bad cards for me, and maybe this is just me, but I think this card is awful. I mean, it doesn't have charge. It's a 3 cost. You're going to hit it on the ground for a 2/5. Okay, that's cool. But every time you use your hero power, and in a meta that's going to be specifically designed around using your hero power, you're just popping this thing back into the hand. So sure, maybe you're going to get like a 2 damage removal and then put it back and refresh it, but honestly, there just seems to be so much more that you should be doing with your mana than worrying about switching this thing back and forth between your hand. It could just be me, but when I saw this card, I was like, never will this be in any of my decks at all.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's bad and it should feel bad.
Exactly.
I think it's bad. I mean, like, you could think of it as, you know, play it on turn 3, kill off a 2-drop, like 3/2, and then return it to your hand, and then put it back out the next turn. Like, oh, the value. Like, if you think about it that way, you're like, oh, it's not that bad, but I don't know. It's
Maybe
like, how many of your turns do you really want to dedicate to playing this guy and then returning him to your hand? Like, I don't know.
I'm not
Maybe it's
picking
a
him in arena.
compliment, but
I'm not picking him in arena. There's no way. He's a rare. There's gonna be 2 other rares that I would rather
rares,
have.
true.
I don't know.
I guess you could just avoid using your hero power, but...
Again,
Yeah.
just seems
Which,
kind
in that case, a 3-mana 2/5 is really good.
true.
It's okay.
Well, then again, for Rogue, who's gonna not use their hero power as much, maybe.
There you go.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe it's a rogue card. Lucky rogue. Okay.
Thinking. All right.
Holy champion.
Holy Champion, 4-mana 3/5 priest common. Whenever a character is healed, gain +2 attack. It's Light Warden for 4 mana with 5 health. I've heard a lot of people say this card is really underwhelming. I like this card. I think this card has potential. Just because 3/5 is a good stat line already, and then you could super combo it, and it would be insane. But I mean, if you're really only looking for the attack, then yeah, Light Warden does the same thing. This is just a little bit more durable, but I mean, you could Power Word Shield your Light Warden, so I don't know. It's sort of, if you're looking for a 4-drop, this is a good 4-drop, but priests aren't really looking for a 4-drop, if that makes sense.
Right. I like that this has been referred to as Medium Warden. Like light and then
Medium Warden.
Yes, yes. Great, now we need a large.
Yeah.
Down the,
Yeah.
Large
It'll be
Warden.
It'll be like coffee sizes. Okay.
Venti
I'd
and
like
frosted.
a Venti Warden.
A venti warden,
Yes.
please. Yes. No fat, low fat. Okay, King's Defender. 3 for 3/2 versus a warrior card, battle cry. If you have a minion with taunt, gain +1 durability. So I'm also really excited at the prospect of taunt warrior. We've seen some pretty cool warrior taunty things. I think it's probably going to be janky and unplayable, but that's okay. I'm still excited about it, and just I'm gonna be excited about it until I realize that it's terrible, and then I'll move on with my life. But until then, I'm super excited. This card, however, it doesn't do anything for me. So it's like 3 for a 3/3 weapon.
It's a fiery war axe, except sometimes it's a little bit better than a fiery war axe,
Exactly.
but only sometimes.
But then you
And
pay
it's one more
more.
mana.
When you get this perfect hand, the god hand, it's great. But just
Yeah.
after that.
So
I don't know.
when this first got translated, it was translated incorrectly in saying that for every minion you had with taunt, you would gain another durability, and I think that would have been. I don't think that
little.
would have been OP. I really don't. But
Especially not if you're playing this on turn 3.
Turn 3, yeah. 'cause
yeah,
nobody
exactly.
Really gonna have taunt at that point.
So
Yeah.
like, you'll play it later in the game, and then maybe you'll have like a 3/5 weapon, and I still don't think that's OP.
Really good, but like,
But it's not OP.
then you have to like commit to making taunt minions. So
Exactly.
if it was that, it would have potential,
Right.
but it's not. So it's
right. So it's
yeah.
just kind of
I'll play Fiery War Axe.
lackluster. That's the word for
Yeah.
it. Okay, Flame Juggler.
Flame Juggler, Battlecry, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. It's a 2-cost, 2/3. I mean, I don't feel, again, this is one of those that I don't think is bad. I mean, we've seen a bunch of cards that do like the deal 1 damage to a random enemy thing. Or no, deal 1 damage to a specific enemy. This is a random one, which completely went over my head as I was reading it out loud. I mean, I think it's a 2-drop, 2/3, but essentially, again, when you're looking at cards that you can play, that's a zombie chow. And you can have more sort of playability with that. Like, you can, if you need to, you can silence the heal. You can work it with the priest to make it damage. I just feel like, again, there are better cards that you can play turn 2, better cards you can play turn 1. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's one of those that we'll see that ends up being, all right, this is a cool card, and then nobody really ever plays it.
Yeah.
That's my personal.
I think
Not bad in Arena.
Yeah, I would
Maybe
pick.
Good against Face Hunter.
Yeah.
Again,
Like,
you guys play way more than Arena than I do, because I just look at them like, and Constructed?
yeah, no, I mean against any deck that's not running, against any deck that's not a Bulletin or Face Hunter,
Yeah.
I've got better things to do in turn 2.
Right. I mean, even against like a Leper Gnome, like a turn 1 Leper Gnome, you play this turn 2, you're like, all right, well, I still have a 50% chance of just missing, and then like
And hitting the face.
why did
And
I
hating
even
my
play
life.
this? Yeah.
So
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Okay, Savage Combatant.
Savage Combatant, 4 mana, 5/4 Druid, class rare. Inspire, give your hero +2 attack this turn. I like this card. People hate me for liking this card, but I like this card. I like Beast Druid. I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to try it. Basically, it's a 4 mana, 5/4, so it's a... the 4 mana, 5/4 neutral Tall Strider. The Lost Tall Strider. It's a Tall Strider, but it's strictly better than a Tall Strider. It has Inspire, give your hero +2 attack this turn. So the Inspire, it basically turns your Druid's attack into a Fiery War Axe for 1 turn, which is pretty good. So, I mean, yeah, it's slow, but I like it.
I like
and I'm
it
going to
too.
try it.
I like it
So,
too. It makes me happy.
Haters going to hate. I like this card.
And I also gotta say, like, yeah, it's slow, and we don't know how well this particular format may work, but I love that they are very obviously trying to steer people into, hey, you do remember that, like, in WoW lore, druids go into beast mode and they, like, hit people with their face a lot. So it's taking us back to, like, Bite and Savagery, which no one in their right mind has ever played Savagery in a respectable deck, but it's kind of steering us toward the place where we may still not do it, but hey, maybe we can consider, let's do some stuff with the beasts.
Maybe
and
if you
hero
take
power.
an Arena, it won't be as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I
I
think
like
it
this card.
has
I'm going to make a
potential,
Beast
yeah.
Druid deck. Maybe it'll happen.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun to play around with for sure. Clockwork Knight. Oh, 5/5 mech battlecry. Give a friendly mech +1/+1. I don't know why I like this card so much. I have no idea why this card speaks
It's
to me.
good value.
It is really adorable. It's also a common, and I just like that as a common for Arena. It's adorable. Like it's Clockwork Gnome riding on a knight, and I mean, I know that I'm gonna be able to like draft some sort of ridiculous like mech sub-theme deck and like get some sort of value from this. I don't know. 5 for a 5/5 is like something that I need in Arena anyway. Like I don't have enough of those. That's like such a solid body, and I don't know. This card makes me happy. It's not going to see any constructed play, I don't think, with any mech decks. I don't think this really has a place in it. I don't know. Do you guys agree with that?
I don't know.
I mean, I like.
I think
I
maybe
like
if you're literally doing like, sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was just saying, like, if you're just doing a sheer mech deck, maybe, or you're doing one of those things where it's like rogue and you have like the buff the mech once a turn or whatnot kind of things. I think maybe in not like a strict meta approved mech deck, but you may see like the occasional one on ladder, like, oh, that's a 5/5 that just buffed this mech into a very annoying range for me. So I mean, I think there's potential for it. I'm not sure.
maybe in like a Zooish mech type thing.
Yeah.
This is basically like a Shattered Sun Cleric for mechs, and like Shattered Sun Cleric was good enough to be in Zoo for a long time.
I saw that in a Zoo Lock today. And I was like, what?
It's still not bad. Like you can still do it. It doesn't suck. Yeah. So I mean, like I don't know. It's just a good card. Like there's nothing to complain about this card. It's balanced and it's fair and it has mech synergy and I like it. And there might even be a constructed deck that it fits in. Not necessarily like the #1 deck on the ladder, but I think it might work.
Yeah.
I think it's got a shot.
I hope it does. I'm rooting for you, Clockwork Knight. Like we're bros.
Go Clockwork Knight. You're adorable.
Idis, Darkbane.
Idis.
Alright, well, lore-wise, I'm really hyped for, the Valkyr, but I don't know, like, I may actually pass this off to one of you two, because with her and with the other one, with Lightbane, I'm sort of on the fence with how I feel about any of them, and really, I think about it in the sense, like, we saw the Dragonkin Sorcerer come down, and on paper that seems like really awesome, like, okay, when you cast a spell on this minion, that's going to be great, but I think maybe in Paladin, maybe in Priest, where you can do like the Shadow Words and what, or not the Shadow Words, the Power Word shields, especially we've got the one upcoming that heals when you attack, potential for those, but I just don't know what the odds are that you're really going to be able to center around the synergy of getting this buffed and doing the things that you want to do to it. Maybe it's just a good body, just a good legendary. I like that it's a small legendary, but still on the fence with this one and with Lightbane, exactly how much I think I will see them in Constructed.
I agree. I think for 3 mana, 3/4, it's good stat line, good body, good effect. I mean, I don't really have anything to complain about this card. Like, I think Idis is better than Fiola. So I think this card, I think people are going to try to use this card, and I think this card is, yeah, exactly, and in some sort of buff deck, in some sort of deck where you can target it with a spell. So yeah, Priest's going to be really good. Paladin might be okay. But this card could be really solid. So I like this card.
I like it.
Potentially solid. It's the best thing anyone's ever said. Okay. Fiola Lightbane.
Alright, Fiola Lightbane is the companion to Idis Darkbane. 3 mana, 3/4, so they have the same stat line. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain Divine Shield. This one isn't quite as great as Idis. With Idis, it's whenever you target with a spell, deal 3 random damage. So basically, you could go Idis, spell, and deal tons of damage. With Fiola, it's sort of more... It's a little slower. It's target it with a spell, give it Divine Shield, attack, get some good value, and then, like, wait. So it's not something you can, like, slam a bunch of spells on, but it's still a good card. You can buff it, you can give it Divine Shield. Yeah, so it's still just a solid, smaller legendary, and I do like it. So...
Yeah, I'm excited to be seeing these smaller legendaries, too. Just, like, see some... legendaries don't always have to be, like, completely game-changing, like... Nefarian, Alexstrasza, like these huge... Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes you just get, like, really, really good quality cards for early game, and I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's... Idis is going to be better in more of, like, an aggressive deck with the spells that you want to deal damage very fast, and this Fiola might be a little bit more control-oriented with the Divine Shields and trying to get really good trade value and things like that. So I think maybe they're not going to necessarily work together, but I think they both work in different ways. They're both just really solid cards.
Yeah. Silent Knight. Not to be confused with Holy Knight, which is also a card. So 3 for 2/2, but Stealth and Divine Shield. It's a common. I'm excited to play it in Arena. don't think it's going to see constructed play. I mean, I don't think this even has place in, like, Pally decks.
Because
No.
Yeah,
still-
because Shielded
still
Minibot is more on curve. But I think it'll be fun in Arena. Argent,
Yeah, it's not bad.
Argent Watchman?
Sergeant Watchman. Honestly, the only thing I really love about this card is the art. And again, like, I'm a very aesthetically centered person when it comes to these cards. Like, yes, gorgeous, this is so cool, and it looks awesome. And I could just be underwhelmed, and I could be missing out on some potential for it, but it just seems like a worse Ancient Watcher to me. Like, I mean, maybe, yeah, when you do the Inspire, you can attack, but I just see better cards to drop on turn 2 than the Argent Watchman.
You know what card I'd rather play than this? A River Crocolisk.
Yeah!
2 mana, 2/3 that can attack whenever you want it. Great, I'll play it. This thing only has 1 more health, and the drawback is so large. It's not worth it at all. It's just like the art is gorgeous. Like the trident on what looks to be like some sort of mythological awesome beast type thing. Like it's cool. It's really cool. I bet it'd be really cool gold. Nobody's ever gonna play it.
Nope.
I don't want it in arena. It's just bad.
Nope. Preach. Preach, girl.
So
Silverhand Regent.
Silverhand Regent.
we already talked about this
You
one.
did
Yeah.
Silverhand
Yeah.
Regent.
Skip
Okay.
down to Demon
And
Fuse,
Flame
down to-
Flame Juggler.
Wait.
Oh.
I see the Spellslinger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Am I
yeah.
wrong?
Skip
Oh,
down
Spellslinger.
to-
Sorry.
Yeah,
We're there.
Spellslinger, my bad.
Right before Demon Fuse. Alright, Spellslinger. 3 mana, 3/4, Mage class, common, battlecry, add a random spell card to each player's hand. This card is cool. I really like this card. It's got a great stat line. It's the same stat line of Fiola and Itis. Just like, can't complain about the stats. And potentially the battlecry is going to give your opponent a Flame Strike and it's going to give you a Moonfire or an Innervate or something terrible and you're just going to hate your life. But, I mean, I think more often than not, it's a good body. It's a good 3-drop. It's fun. I think it's going to be great in Arena, and I think people are going to try it in Constructed. I think maybe in a Tempo Mage this might happen. You don't really want to play your Flame Wakers on 3, so you might as well play your Spellslingers.
Yep, I'm trying it. I'm trying it in Flame Waker. It's gonna be great. I've had so much fun with this in the Brawl this week. I love this card. I think
Oh my
it's-
gosh, you're right, Shelby. It's a Griffin. That's the word I was looking
Yeah,
for.
I thought it was a Griffin, but I didn't want to say that
I'm
because I
like-
was like, maybe I'm wrong and I'm gonna sound like a huge idiot.
No, you are absolutely right. I'm just... I've been at work all day, guys, and the words are escaping me.
That's okay. We don't expect you to be completely up on our mythological creatures here.
That's right.
Okay, Demon Fuse. Is it me? I think it's me.
Yes.
Demon Fuse, 2, give a demon +3/+3, give your opponent a mana crystal. Why would you want to do such a thing? What a ridiculous thing to do. I mean, I don't know that this even has a place in, like, Demon Zoo Rush decks. I can't, like, picture a scenario in which you want to make that trade, the 3 extra damage for the mana crystal, unless you're like about to deal lethal. And if you're about to deal lethal, I feel like there are better ways to be
Ways to do
about
it.
to deal lethal, like Dark Bomb.
If Demon Fire is not good enough, and Demon
Yeah.
Fire is not bad value,
Mm-hmm.
then this is just like so it's going to throw you back so much in tempo. It's giving your opponent a wild growth on turn 2. Why the hell would you want to give your druid opponent a wild growth when they weren't skilled enough to draw their own wild growth? Do not do that. That is bad.
Don't help them out.
That is very bad.
Bad. All right. So moral of the story: don't play this card. It's bad.
Bad.
Okay.
Not
Good. Argent Horse Rider.
All right, 3 cost, 2/1 Divine Shield with charge. The best I can say about it is I like it as a small hit the field and remove something. I mean it costs 3, so you're not going to get to play it like turn 2 or whatnot unless you coin it out. But still, when I used a lot of it. It came up a lot in Tavern Brawl, and it was just like, there's a lot of minions this meta that have 2 health, and in general, and it's just a nice. It's just a solid. Kill what you're looking for, and then you still have a body. If it dies to Mage Ping, okay. But, it did what it needed to do. I feel like that's... I'm gonna imagine that the crown on his head is like the little confused birds chirping around, because it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna hit this person! Oh, I did! Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah, decent in Arena. Bad and Constructed,
Yep.
but
A lot of
not
these
awful.
cards. Yeah. It's a mini Argent Commander. and I'm okay with that.
I don't hate it.
All right. Flame Lance.
I hate it.
I hate it.
I hate it. I hate this card so much.
How
I
many
use
times
this card
did it get used on you in Tavern Brawl?
Yeah.
a couple, but I still hated it because it's bad. Like, I was like, all right, Flame Lance, whatever. 5 mana, mage, spell, deal 8 damage to a minion. I use this card to describe why I hate other cards, because I hate this card so much. And, like, I have learned the art of the smork. I understand how to hit the face. And this card just doesn't let you do it. Like, Fireball is 6 mana, and I can go face. And if I want minion removal, I'm playing Polymorph. It's 4 mana, and it gets rid of Death Rattles. Like, this card is specifically worse than Polymorph by 1 mana, and it doesn't remove Death Rattles. So, like, I'll leave up a 1/1 for all of that benefit. Gets rid of Divine Shields, gets rid of Sylvanas' effect. Like, I'm playing Polymorph over Flame Lance. I'm not even looking at Flame Lance. Even in Arena, I'm like, ugh, I guess I'll take it, but I'm not happy about it.
The one
No.
thing I can say is, have you guys seen this card Gold? Because damn,
Is it pretty?
Ooh,
It's
I
got
bet
some
it's
good art.
pretty.
It's pretty.
it's pretty. It spins. Sorry.
like that.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that's the one benefit from this.
Yeah,
card.
like, I just
I
get
decided
it and then don't
it's not
disenchant it. You can just like
entirely
go
hideous.
through your spell book and go, ooh.
Ooh.
Ah.
All right.
Oh my
Sounds
gosh.
good. Darnassus Aspirant. 2 for a 2/3 battle cry. Gain an empty mana crystal. Death rattle. Destroy mana crystal. I think this card is super cool. I think in Druid this is going to be just so neat to be able to it's like taking a loan. You're like taking a micro loan on your turn 4, because if it's not killed immediately by Dark Bomb, Wrath, Frostbolt, whatever, then turn 4 Pilot Shredder. Sweet, thank you. Turn 4 Tuzdingle. Like, yes, I will do that every single day. And I don't care if then it dies and I go back down and then I have a turn 4 again for my other Piloted Shredder. Great, fantastic. If it does die, you're right back to where you were, except now they have 1 fewer Frostbolt in their hand. So I think this card is great.
This card rocks.
Yep.
I love this
Again,
card.
really pretty card.
Yeah.
something, little bit of sap stuck in my throat.
No, I love this card. Great card.
Wrathguard.
Alright, 2 cost, 4/3. Whenever this minion takes damage, also deal that amount to your hero. It's a demon, it's a warlock specific, of course. And at first I was a little bit skeptical, because I don't know. Maybe it's just like my ingrained loathing for Zulox. But when I think about it, like, that I think has a lot of value. You're hitting the face for 4 very early in the game, and even though when it dies, like, okay, so you get frostbolted and then you take 3 to the face, it's not like they're gonna pyroblast this sucker. I mean, you're not gonna take an absurd amount of damage from this. Most things that are gonna hit it are gonna kill it. So, yeah, or it won't do that much damage to you. So, while the drawback is a little bit painful, I think it's gonna be really nice, solid 2-drop for Zulox and all that good stuff. I mean, I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I agree. I think this card's a little underrated right now. I mean, if you play it in the early game, nothing's going to deal more than 3 damage to you, which is when you want to play it. If you play it in the late game and it gets hit by something for, 1 million damage,
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad, but you don't want to be playing a 2-drop in the late game anyway. So I think for its intended purpose, strong.
Yeah.
Saw someone in chat say shield slam it. Yeah. I have experienced the 26 damage shield slam, and I am just saying that is the one moment where I'd be like, oh my god.
Oh
can I
my
please
god.
just chant this
That
card
that is
right
how
now?
you shield slam face. You shield slam face through the Wrathguard.
Through the
Oh,
wrath card.
that's beautiful.
Oh.
It's like we can
I
predict
think
what's going to be on Trollden next week, basically. Like, we're going to see
50
this.
That's amazing. Okay, I like this card even more now.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. I hope that
Sharpens
happens.
my control warrior deck a little bit.
Shadowpan Cavalry.
5 mana, 3/7, rogue, common, combo, plus 3 attack. It's a Boulder Fist Ogre for 1 less mana when you combo it. It's solid. I think it's not good in the current rogue decks. But I think a lot of the cards that we're getting are not strong in their current decks either, to be fair. So I think I'm not 100% sure if this card is strong enough to warrant an entirely new rogue deck, but I do think it is strong. So I do like this card. I think people are going to give it a shot. And I think in Arena, this card is really good.
Yes, very good.
It gives a nice bigger body for the combo.
Yeah.
Aspect.
Yeah. Okay. Master of Ceremonies. 3 for 4 to Epic Battlecry. If you have a minion with spell damage, gain +2/+2. So currently, we're not seeing a lot of things based around spell damage. Definitely not seeing decks necessarily based around the idea of spell damage. Like we do see, like Blood Mage and, you know, like a couple things in like Rogue. Azure Drake obviously sees a lot of play. But it's never like you're building a deck around spell damage. So I kind of like the idea of having a deck like that where, you know, it's just like one more archetype that we can add to the Hearthstone repertoire, and I think this card allows you to do that. So I mean, if you have one, it's 3 for a 6/4, which seems, I mean, that's incredible. That's like spot on. So I think I'm gonna try this in some sort of janky nonsense deck. I don't know what, but it's gonna be fun, and I love the card art on it, and I just kind of generally like have a little soft spot for this card. I don't know.
That was my initial thing. My initial thing was like, man, that art is so pretty to be wasted on on a card that no one's gonna play. But then I looked through and like there are so many cards. Like, not so many, but later on as we get through the list, like, there are more spell damage cards. When you think about the spell damage cards we've already got, like, lined up, maybe it's going to be bits and pieces of a puzzle that we can put something together and it actually work better than we thought it would.
Soot Spewer is going to be the new meta.
Yeah!
Soot Spewer meta.
Oh
my gosh.
Ooh, there you go.
Beautiful.
There you go. Okay,
you heard
Druid.
It here first, guys.
Yeah,
yes.
New meta. You heard it first. Druid of the Saber.
Wait, is it my turn?
I think it's Latoan.
Oh, it's my turn.
I think.
Shit, I was just talking, so I was just like, oops. All right, Druid of the Saber. 2 cost, choose 1 charge, or choose 1 charge, or +1/1 and stealth. 2 cost, 2/1. I think I like this card. I mean, in general, we're wanting the wild growth on turn 2 with the current, like Ramp Druid being the big deal. When we're thinking about like the Beast Druid being maybe a really big thing that's gonna hit, I think it's a nice body. I don't see the charge happening much unless you really need to, like I said before, hit something and kill it for 2. I feel like this is going to be 9 out of 10 times a 1/1 with stealth, but still, that means turn 3 you've got a 3 damage 2 health minion on board, and maybe again I have a soft spot for it because I've always been really soft for druids, but I like this card. I do.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Darnassus Aspirant, I feel like the Ramp Druid is going to be getting quite a bit stronger, and I feel like your 2 slot is going to, every time, want to be Wild Growth or the Aspirant. But I think in Arena this card is really strong, and maybe a more aggressive Druid deck, because it's a Bluegill Warrior with options, and it's not bad.
Bluegill Warrior with options. I like
With
it.
options. Who doesn't like options?
Always want to have the options.
There you go.
Crowd favorite.
All right. This card, yeah, 4 mana, 4/4. I haven't wrapped my head around this card yet because whenever you play a card with Battlecry, gain +1/+1. So basically, if any of you remember this little card called Undertaker, he was like this 1 mana guy. He was like a 1/2. You're like, oh, he's weak. He's not gonna do anything. But then it was like, oh, you know, gain +1/+1 for every death rattle you ever play. And then you're like, how many death rattles could somebody really have? And then it turns out there was a lot of death rattles that you could have. And then that 1 mana card turned into a 4/5 that like killed you like on turn 5. And then you just hated it. So then Blizzard was like, fine, we'll make it worse. And then they did. Now nobody plays it. So this card, I think, is really, really good. I think this card is pretty underrated right now. And if it were any lower mana, I would be terrified of this card. I would be absolutely freaking terrified of this card because I feel like the Undertaker thing could happen all over again. But just with a 4 mana 4/4, whenever you play a card with Battlecry, gain +1/+1, I think this card is strong. And the fact that it's a neutral means that any deck, I don't think it's quite as abusable because it's not something that you can go 1 coin, 1,
Right.
2 drop, 3 drop. You can't
Right.
do that. So it's strong. It's not going to be abused, which is why I really like it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good card.
Yeah. Very, very good. Bash. Warrior card. 3. Deal 3 damage. Gain 3 armor. I'm offended as a warrior arena lover. I am offended. I'm offended that they're giving us these cards that aren't good for warriors in arena, because warrior is already terrible. Well, I actually really like warrior in arena, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite warrior classes, even though it's like commonly cited as the worst. But I mean, warriors definitely do not have great arena cards except for weapons. So this card is what a lot of other cards do for two mana. I mean, the 3 armor in arena doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So it's not good in arena. What do you guys think for constructed? I can't really say. I don't think it will see play.
I'm trying. Go ahead. I don't have my full thought together.
I mean, as I've started playing so much more Control Warrior lately, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't imagine any situation really where this is better than. Oh God, why can't I think of the shield block?
Shield block.
Oh, yeah, shield block. Why? My brain stopped because my dog's whining. But like, in any situation, I think 5 armor and drawing a card is better than deal 3 damage. Personally, I mean, they're the same cost. I just don't see this overtaking that unless you're going for a more like aggressive, go for it. Maybe then it's. But I still, like you said, I think that Warrior got the short end of the stick a little bit this expansion.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think it's going to replace Shield Block. I don't think it's good enough to do that, but I'm wondering if it could be played with Shield Block in some way, because 3 mana for 3 damage is basically saying that 1 armor, or that 3 armor is worth 1 mana. And that's pretty good, because warriors usually get about 2 armor for 2 mana. So, I mean, it's a good card. Not as necessary to have armor in arena, but still not bad. I don't know. I'm just trying to think maybe if somebody could play it with shield block in some way. It's not going to replace shield block, but maybe, 2 shield blocks, 1 bash for some options, maybe in a different kind of warrior deck. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just not super necessary, I guess I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I think it's just better cards you can play for 3.
Exactly. Okay, right. Gormok the Impaler.
Gormok the Impaler, he's a 4-cost legendary, 4/4 battlecry. If you have at least 4 other minions, deal 4 damage. I'm just not sold on this card. Like, I think it has a good effect if you're running like a zoo deck and you know for a fact you're going to have like a certain amount of minions. But 1, if you've got at least 4 other minions, you're begging for the mind control tech. And 2, it just screams inconsistent to me. Like, I don't feel like anything that, in order for this card to have an effect when it hits the field, you have to have other things going on, is worth running over even like a piloted shredder. Again, that's just me, but I would never spend 1,600 dust to craft this unless somehow, miraculously, someone was like, this is the deck. Maybe with Paladin, you've got the
Gormok the Impaler's zoo deck.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
So
good.
I just think that there's better cards you can play and better legendaries you can play at. Yeah, I'm just not sold on it. Not personally.
I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's gonna make MC Tech come back into the meta.
Yes, but see, that's it. That's it. It's the buff to mind control tech. That's what
it
this card
is.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, injured Cavaldier.
The injured Cavaldier, 1 mana, 2/4 battlecry, deal 3 damage to this minion. It's sort of like a smaller.
Injured Blade.
Oh gosh, yes, injured Blade Master.
Mm.
Oh gosh, sleepies. Yeah, it's sort of like a smaller injured Blade Master. It's a 1 mana 2/1 that you have to heal to be a zombie chow. And again, I say, why don't you just play zombie chow? So, yeah.
Yeah, even with like
sort of where
circle
I'm coming
healing,
from.
it's not good.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm going with this one. Like,
You have better things to
play
do
zombie
this
chow, kids. It's good for you.
It's good for your soul. Okay, Burgle. 3, add 2 random class cards to your hand from your opponent's class. So it's kind of like Nefarian without the 8/8, but for 3. So you could. It's kind of like Thoughtsteal also in that way, except you're only getting spells, but they could be like you could get Pyroblast or you could get like oil, like tinker oil as a druid, and then you're like, oh, that was fun, like great. So I kind of dislike the random aspect of that. I can't see myself playing this in anything.
Especially because it's not even just spells. Like you could get a minion or something and still it's
Can
Oh,
I
right,
just
it's
say
class
it,
cards, yeah.
can I just say it looks like the Hamburglar running through
Hamburglar,
Snow
right.
White's
It
forest?
does.
I love it so much. This card just makes me smile. Like the card art on this just looks so different than everything else to me because it's so happy and bright and beautiful and wonderful.
Yeah.
It's one I'd keep and just not I probably wouldn't use it too much, but if I get it, I'm gonna look at it in my spellbook.
Oh, it's so pretty.
This is really cute.
So
I like
pretty.
it. I have this card.
Bolster.
All right, so two cost. Oh, that's you. Is that you or is that me?
This you.
Where are we at? This is me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm bad about this.
That's okay.
Tired. Okay, so 2-cost spell, warrior specific. Give your taunt minions 2/2. We saw before with the weapon, like if you've got taunt minions, it's going to buff. So this is another thing that shows that they're kind of trying to push towards the taunt, which I think is interesting. I like any card that seems to try to construct on its own a new archetype of deck. And right now we don't see too many taunts in like Grim Patron Warrior. They're only running the taunts that are specific, like to help buff the Zerker or to deal out damage to the Grim Patrons with the Unstable Ghoul. But this kind of prompts it to be like, okay, well, let's throw in more taunts than we're used to. And I don't know how well that'll go. I don't know how much we'll actually see of that. But like with the weapon, like with this, I think it's really interesting that we are looking at the potential for a new archetype. So I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say Taunt Warrior. I'm super excited. Can't wait.
Taunt
It's gonna be
Warrior.
great.
If you're making Taunt Warrior, this is like the backbone of the Taunt Warrior. Well, there's one other card too, but we haven't gotten
Right.
to it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ancestral Knowledge.
It is a 2-mana Shaman class spell. Draw 2 cards, overload 2. It's basically Arcane Intellect for 1 less mana, but you overload for 2 on your next turn. So it ends up coming out to like a 4-mana Arcane Intellect. Maybe gives you a little bit more tempo. It's not bad. I mean, I feel like if you're using card draw, you're not playing this on 2 anyway. You're going to want this later game when maybe the overload's not going to matter quite as much. So, and I feel like sometimes shamans can really hurt for cards. So if you're not wanting to play Mana Tide Totem, I think this card is not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
About the same. It's one of those shaman cards that I'm like, like I'm super hyped for most of the shaman cards, but I'm like, this is good. This is good, and it's good to have card draw, but again, not sure how often I will see it run constructed when there's other things that you can be doing to sort of get your tempo and swing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Muckla's Champion. 5 for 4/3. Inspire. Give your other minions +1/+1. Oh, I love it so much. I'm so excited about it. It's a beast. I don't know if it's actually good. I mean, it's a gorilla riding a hippo. What is not to like about that? It's wearing armor.
Beautiful.
It's Muckla. Like, I don't know. He's just... So, the flavor here is that it's a gorilla tossing bananas that give +1/+1 to, like, all the other minions, which I think is just hilarious. So, I mean, I don't know if this is going to see play in anything. It's a common. I'm going to draft this all day long for Arena and just get so giddy about throwing bananas to my minions. I mean...
On a hippo.
On a hippo.
Right.
Yeah, what's not to like about that? Like, I don't even care if this is a good card. I'm gonna play it because it's a hippo.
It's a monkey riding a hippo.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Do we have any other 5-mana 4/3s? There's the rogue's got the one that deals 2 damage to every undamaged minion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
That I never see played ever.
That's
Oh,
a
that I'm
good
like,
card.
That's a
That's a
card.
good card. I can't remember the name of it, but that's a good card. So that's the only other
Dark
5.
Iron.
Skulker.
Iron.
Yeah.
That's the only other 5-mana 4/3 I can think of off the top of my head. So it's not a bad stat line if you've got a really good effect. The only thing is, this is sort of like a 7-mana 4/3.
Yeah.
But if you, on turn 7, have a big board, then pretty good. And it's a gorilla riding a hippo. So your
argument is
opinions
invalid.
don't matter. They just don't matter. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Okay, the Skeleton Knight.
Alright, 6 cost, 7/4. Death Rattle, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, return this to your hand. It's a legendary. Again, maybe I'm just cynical about some of the legendaries this expansion, but I feel like, okay, sure, nice attack. You're gonna possibly get the hit, but it's a big game hunter target. And then when you think about it, if you lose the Joust, then okay, so I dropped 6 mana to get this thing on the field, and then it got big game huntered, and it has, I mean, yeah, you can put it back into your hand, but then again, you really need, that's something I think this meta doesn't focus on enough, is the tempo of it. And if you're doing that, if you're worrying about replaying minions rather than the ones that you're getting, I just feel like there are better 6-drops. I mean, we mentioned earlier the 6-drops that could be available, and then the 6-drops we already have. Like, I would rather this be a Sylvanas. But again, maybe in decks featured around Joust, yeah. Maybe in decks featured around Joust, it could be really good, and we could see a lot of this. And I mean, it's cool looking Skeleton Knight. The Skeleton Army is here for our souls. But I just, I'm not like, yes, I love this card.
Yeah.
It's just not here for me.
I don't like this card. I mean, how can you really feature a deck around Joust without having every card in your deck be like really high mana? I can't really wrap my head around it yet. This card just seems like 4 health is so bad, and it's a big game hunter target, and it might just actually be a 6 mana 7/4 that does nothing because you might lose the Joust.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's gonna play it. I haven't liked this in this week's brawl at all. I just think it's not exciting, not very
I
good.
feel like the main situation where we see this is when you're drafting an arena, and it's like, well, this isn't the worst legendary here. 7
Right.
attack is nice. No big game hunter, big fear. Let's take this one. But
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, over like Lore Walker Cho and Nat Pagel, maybe you'll pick this.
I might honestly pick the Pagel.
Yeah, I think I
I'd
might
rather
too.
have a Boulder Fist Ogre. I'd so
Yeah.
rather have a Boulder Fist
Every
Ogre.
day, we'd rather have a
Oh,
Boulder Fist
man.
Ogre.
Yeah, I'd rather have Boulder Fist Ogre. No, that's how I feel.
All right, speaking of strange things riding other things, Tusker Jouster.
Is this a freaking walrus riding a turtle?
Damn right it is.
It's wonderful.
Look at how happy he looks.
Arthur.
It's just wonderful. He's just like, hey, I'm a turtle, and there's a walrus on me, and we're a 5 mana 5/5 paladin card, and if you win the joust, we're gonna give you 7 health. Cool. Like, if you lose the joust, we're still a 5 mana 5/5. Not bad.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make you smile every time you play us. So great.
I love him.
So maybe a little
Shameless.
overhyped. Yeah, maybe a little overhyped because the effect is a joust. So you can't really rely on it for health, which is sort of what you want to play health for. Like, you play Healbot because you want 8 health when you want 8 health.
Right.
And in this case, I don't really want to, like, risk everything on, like, a chance to
Yeah.
not die.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know if the 2/2 in stats is worth, like, questioning whether or not I'm going to die. But
What-
look at the smile on his face.
Is the turtle worth questioning if you're
Shamelessly
gonna
in love
die?
with-
I think that might be.
I think it is.
That might be worth it.
Style points, Cora. You gotta think about the style,
Style
points.
I love the style points.
Okay, Argent Lance. 2 for a 2/2 battle cry. Reveal a minion in each deck if yours is costing more, +1 durability. So, in the best possible scheme, it's 2 for a 2/3 weapon, which is sort of like an inverted Fiery War Axe. I think it's fine, I guess. This is a paladin card. Is this a paladin card? This is a paladin card, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. I mean, I think I would still rather have I would rather pay 1 more mana for the Cogmaster. Coghammer, rather.
Sword
Yeah.
of Justice.
Yeah, or Sword of Justice. I mean, it's okay. I'm just like kind of.
Paladins don't really need more weapons, to be perfectly honest. I mean, on turn 3, you're playing a muster or you're playing a coghammer, and this thing's going to be gone anyway because you're not going to be able to use 3 durability by turn 3.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Exactly.
I feel like it was just one of those things. It's like, hey, Joust is a thing. Let's capitalize on it.
It's
We don't
sometimes a Stormforged axe.
Yes,
Right.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Yes, that's what it's called, Stormforged Axe, yeah. Okay, Armored Warhorse.
Oh, I love this card. Like, shamelessly love this card. When I was playing it in the Tavern Brawl, one, it's a beast. So you can put it in source like the Beast Druid and the Beast Hunter, which I swear someone's gonna make work, and I'm gonna be happy about it. They're gonna work. I believe in it. And when you're doing the joust thing, like, yeah, sometimes it gets to be a bit gimmicky, and you don't get to do anything with it. But hopefully you've got it set up at least where the joust is sort of in your favor, because that's going to be kind of a deck that you're playing around. But I just like this card. I mean, I like the thought that you can hop 5 to the face or 5 to a minion. It's good removal. And even still, it soaks up, like you mentioned earlier, I believe, Cora, like, if it gets frostbolted, that's a frostbolt that didn't hit your face. And, you know, it's a soft on in the fact that nobody wants to leave a 5 attack minion on board when they can run into Thaurissan or Lotheb or something. Just, I think it's probably not going to be like a staple, but I think that it's going to really shine in certain decks that can feature it.
And it's a beast!
It's a beast.
Yay!
And the emote it makes when it runs is great because it makes horse noises. And I like that.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's, this was in the Tavern Brawl this week, too. If it doesn't get charged, you're like, damn, I just played a 4-mana 5/3. But if it does, you're like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a boss.
That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah.
It's all about how good at jousting you are. What's your skill level?
You just gotta have some really, really good luck. You gotta pray to RNGesus.
Exactly.
All right.
Master Jouster.
6 mana, 5/6, neutral, battlecry, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. This card is kind of bananas in a lot of ways. Like, in Arena, this card rocks. And I feel like there might even be, like, all right, I'm playing a Taunt Druid right now. My Taunt Druid has a really high curve, and I'm playing Sunwalkers. This is better than Sunwalker if I win the Joust. That's pretty good. And, like, I'm pretty much always going to win the Joust against aggro opponents and against even a lot of other control decks. Because, you know, I've got 2 Ancient of Wars, I got 2 Ancient Allures, I have Kel'Thuzad. Like, it's a really high curve. This card would be really damn good in that deck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like this card.
Yeah. It's been great in the Brawl, I think.
I feel like this was like a sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snuck up
Like
on
resident sleeper card, but really good.
Sleeper.
Also, anyone else notice that, like, of all the cards we've ever seen, the art for this one just seems a little bit different? Like, seems more comic book
It
style
does.
than
I
the rest of-
love, like,
I
the
love
silver
it.
green in the back. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just noticed that. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Okay, Eadric, the Pure. 7 for a 3/7 battle cry. Change all enemy minions attack to 1. This is the Paladin legendary. So this is follow the rules on just for everyone. Everyone follow the rules. Instead of everyone get in here, everyone follow the rules. I think it's not necessarily going to see play though. I mean, 7 for a 3/7. I don't know. I'm struggling to think of when you would want to do that rather than a quality consecrate.
The only thing that I can think of really is later there's the Enter the Coliseum, and it's like destroy all minions other than each player's like highest cost minion or highest attack minion, and then maybe if you get them all down to 1 and you have the better minion, woo, there you go. But again, that's like a 6 cost and this is a 7 cost. I think the only reason I love this is, like, again, I play World of Warcraft, so like going back to the lore of it, like it actually is a really appropriate effect for what he does in the game, because he blinds you, it incapacitates you, and when you're making all of the minions like one attack, it sort of incapacitates. But again, he may end up being more of a shiny lore type than actually this is a really great card for all of these decks.
Yeah. All right. I dig that. All right. Let's go to Gadgets and Jousta.
All right, Gadgets and words. Gadgets and Jouster. 1 cost, 1/2. Battlecry, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, gain 1/1. This is the only 1-drop that I truly feel like, if it's a Joust deck, 100% can just override the Zombie Chow. And I know we've been sort of back and forth with that, but it's the 1-drop that, if that is your deck, if your deck is a deck that is intended to win the Jousts and you're running all the other kind of Joust cards, Yeah, sometimes it's just going to be a 1/2 vanilla that hits the board. But sometimes it's going to be a zombie child that you don't have to worry about any secondary effect. Just And
Boom.
who's going to silence? Like, maybe it gets silenced. But maybe I'm overexcited for this card. But I like this card and the
I'm
potential.
back.
Hey, Mara.
Sorry. I had
That's
to get
okay.
a phone charger. My phone is like crying. It's like I'm
No.
a 1%. Help me, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm going. I just need a minute. Oh gosh.
Know that feel. Know that feel. Yeah, I don't
Ugh.
think anyone's gonna waste their owls on this. Like,
Yeah.
what? No, no.
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
what are we looking at? We're
We're on
on.
Gadget Zan.
Gadget
Gadget Zan. That's a tough one to say.
Oh.
Gadget Zan Jouster. That
Okay,
is
so it's
tough.
potentially a zombie chow, but
Right.
potentially not. Guys, what did I say before?
Just play zombie chow.
Just play
Maybe
zombie-
I'm
just play
optimistic.
zombie chow.
I'm a little
Just play
optimistic.
zombie chow. You get a 2/3 every time. Just, oh man, just go for the zombie
Just
chow.
do it. All right.
I'll run a boat. Throw
Yeah,
Oh,
at
there you
the
go.
ball. There you go.
Yeah.
That's fun. All right, I'm gonna disappear for another second.
Okay, I'll take the next one.
Yeah.
Anubarak. 9 for the 8/4 Death Rattle. Return this to your hand and summon a 4/4 minion. So, I mean, one thing that people keep saying when they do set reviews is this dies to Shredder, which is valid, but also, I don't know, there's some problems with saying that. But, I mean, this does die to Shredder, so this does have a very, very, very low toughness, which is very annoying. But the plus side of that is that it's gonna come back to your hand and it's gonna leave a 4/4 on the battlefield. However, you just spent 9 mana and you basically like lost your turn. Like you just basically spent 9 mana on a 4/4 and then you have to like play it again. I don't know. It seems way too slow to see any sort of play, in my opinion. This is gonna be one of those legendaries that everyone forget exists. No one plays. They're like, oh great, I opened a new Barak. I got a legendary. Oh, it's a new Barak. Oh, okay.
Ooh, the dust.
The dust. Yeah, this is 400 dust. That's my impression anyway.
The only thing I'm curious about with it, in your opinion, I just want to ask about you, is do you feel like with it being a rogue-specific card, like I agree it's kind of horrible, but do you feel like with it being a rogue-specific card that you can think of in any current cards or upcoming cards, that there's a way that this would fit really smoothly in to certain things that the rogues are capable of doing?
I can't think of
I'm curious
anything.
in your
I can't think of anything. I mean, can you think of it?
No, I mean, I really can't either. I was just curious. Like, that's something genuine. I'm like, Cora's not here. Let's ask what you think about
Yeah,
this.
no, I think that's like a definite, legitimate question. I just really can't think of something that would try to set this off because it's Death Rattle, so it's not like Shadow Stepping it is gonna set off the Death Rattle. Like it has to die. It doesn't have to just leave the battlefield or yeah, I don't know what they're going for here. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do. Someone's gonna figure it out, maybe, but it's
Me.
not gonna be me. I don't know. Okay, Aviana.
This card back, or yeah. All right, I guess I'll take Aviana. One again for Jackie. Love her just from WoW itself, but
Yeah.
also I think she's a really good card, and it screams automatically. Of course, I mean I think most people who looked at this went, "Oh, Ramp Druid." And
Wait, are we talking about
I think-
Aviana?
Yes,
Yes.
we are.
Would you,
Love it.
Go ahead. You can take over if you want to.
Love
since you
it.
missed,
No, great card.
great card.
Great
Yes,
card.
I
Love
think
it.
I think it's perfect. I really love it. The only thing is I think the best thing to consider is don't try to shape your Ramp Druid around it. Don't try to make it your win condition. Just try to make it fit smoothly into what you're doing, because that's gonna be really nice when you get those 1-cost minions out that are pretty big. But if you try to like plan your whole game around getting 1-cost minions out with Aviana, it's not going to work. She's going to die before you ever get the value that you hope for. But I think it's just like a nice... I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that she justifiably can fit in place of like an Ysera in some cases?
I think, honestly, I think she would work really well with something like Ysera. Because when you're
Yeah.
playing her, you want to play a deck with minions that are big but have great value and really, really good bodies. So, I mean, you know, on turn 10, you can play Aviana and then you can play Ysera. Like, I mean, it's like the
Yeah.
dream.
Yes,
but-
that would be the dream.
I don't think her and Ysera serve the same purposes. So I think maybe they'd work
absolutely not.
together. It's definitely going to be a very heavy deck, going to be a very good jousting deck, potentially, because you're going to have a lot of big stuff. I just love her so much. I want to see her gold art because I don't think I've seen it, and like,
So
she's just so cool. She's just so cool. She's everything that I wish Malorn was, because the Malorn art was so beautiful that I'm like, I'm gonna get this thing in gold, whether anybody tells me anything or not. And then it was so bad, and I'm like, I'm never gonna
Never
use this.
mind.
Fine, I won't get it. And now I'm like, I can do it. This
Yeah.
is great.
she's gorgeous, yeah.
So I love her.
Yeah.
This just in, the phone charger that I had to hunt down did not work. So that was why I disappeared again.
Rip.
I had to go hunt down another phone charger. But I got it. And
Yes. Success.
this is what happens when you leave your good phone charger at Comic-Con.
Ooh, that's rough, buddy. That's rough, buddy.
Hoping to get it back tomorrow, but we'll see.
Cora, do you want to take the next one?
Absolutely. Brave Hunter. Am I correct? We're on Brave Hunter?
Yes.
Okay. 1 mana, 2/1. Inspire if your hand is empty, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero, and this is a Hunter card. And the only good thing about this card is that it is totally a ripoff of Merida.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
So much.
Like 110%. Blizzard's like, all right, we're gonna be funny.
I think even the flavor text says like a not so subtle reference.
Oh, really?
The flavor
It
text,
doesn't
yeah.
really.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. Like, okay, guys, we're gonna totally rip off Disney, but we're not gonna tell anybody. But like, they're gonna get it.
But we're
And
even
gonna
gonna
be
put
like,
Brave in the title.
We're
Like,
gonna put Brave in the name, and she's gonna have the hair, and
Yeah.
like, I
And a
love
bow.
it because of that. I think that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Yes.
As far as it, I mean, it's not terrible. A 1 mana 2/1 is about what you're gonna get. I mean, unless you play Zombie Chow, folks. But like, a lot of the time in a Hunter deck, I'm going to be playing, this is probably going to go best in an aggressive Hunter that's going to run out its hand and you're going to want to deal extra damage. And in that case, a lot of time on turn 1, I find myself playing an Abusive Sergeant that doesn't do anything anyway. Because I'm just like, yeah, 1 mana 2/1, good enough. Good enough. So, I mean, in that case, good enough. Not great, good enough. And then if your hand is empty, your hero power essentially deals 4 damage. But, like, how often is that really going to happen? Not very often. So, I mean, in that case, I'd rather be playing Quick Shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Definitely
Yeah.
rather be playing Quick Shot. Love the hair, though.
Love it. Love it. Love everything about it. Not great, but I love it.
Yep. Grand Crusader, 6/5/5. Battlecry, add a random paladin card to your hand? Why? Why is this not like a series? Why don't we have one of these for every other hero? Like, I thought for sure this was gonna be a series. We were gonna get one for everything, and then we just have a paladin one.
I mean, maybe they're starting slow.
Yeah,
I cross my
sure.
fingers. Because how cool would this... Like, you're getting this in Arena. You're like, oh, I got the random Druid card. I got the random Mage card. Like, it's just cool. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, 6 mana for a 5/5 isn't great. Like, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
It's
And
alright.
then sometimes you get Avenging Wrath, and sometimes you get Tyrion, and you're like, best card ever. So good.
Yeah, I mean, the card advantage you get from it, or that you probably get from it, is worth it. I mean, even if you get, something little, like Divine Shield or like Muster for Battle, like, it doesn't have to be insane, but it just gives you that little bit of card advantage that makes it okay to be playing 6 for a 5/5. So yeah, I think it's cool. I hope they make the rest of them, and we can have a nice little set, and we can all play with each other's cards. It'll be great.
I love it. It's fun.
Oh, Flash Heal.
Flash Heal, Priest card, 1 cost, restore 5 health. If you play WoW, that's supposed to be like a big heal right in the nick of time. It's supposed to be expensive though, so the 1 cost doesn't make sense.
Oh.
But the only thing I can say about this is 1, restore 5 health for 1 cost is really great. 2, I am scared of the Akanai, and I'm scared of the Akanai Velen combo. Like, I mean, someone out there, I've already had all sorts of like Malygos Velen things that I'm saying Velen really weird, I know, but like, I've seen this happen in ladder. It does, I promise you, and someone's gonna be like, alright, we've got Mind Blast, and now we've got restore 5 health, turn that into damage, hit you for 10 or 20, depending on what combo you've got going on. I feel like more often than not, this is going to be used as a damage combo spell than it will ever be used really as a healing spell. But I mean, I'm interested to see what kind of things it not interested, terrified, but semantics.
Terrified.
Semantics.
Scared as all hell.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it'll see some use.
Priest buff is fine by me.
Yeah,
I'm fine
it
with
needs
that.
it.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job,
So you
Blizzard.
actually face one on ladder, and you're like, no, take them all away.
Stop!
Don't
Stop
give
it,
them
Shadow
these
Priest.
cards.
I hate it. Oh my gosh.
Living Roots.
Living Roots. A 1-mana druid spell. Choose one, deal 2 damage, or summon 2 1/1 saplings. Alright, the way I look at it, this is 1 mana, deal 2 damage, is Holy Smite, and it is Arcane Shot. So it's already good. It's already something you've got in other classes. And in this case, you get a choice. You can either be a Holy Smite, or you can summon 2 1/1s. Cool. Cool. Like, I like options. It's 2 damage, or it's 2 wisps. Not bad.
Yep.
Maybe in an aggressive deck you're going to want the wisps, but sometimes you're going to want the removal. And I don't hate it.
And all I can think is Token Druid. Like, it sings to me, Token Druid.
Yeah. And then you Savage, and then you Power of the Wild, and yeah, Violet Teacher, Living Roots for the 1/1s, Power of the Wild.
Boom.
Yep.
Soul of the Forest?
Question mark? Yeah. It's cool.
Dark Whispers? Think of the possibilities, you guys.
We are so overhyped for the potential for Druid cards.
oh, yeah.
I love it.
That's okay.
I love Druid. Oh, Druid.
It's great.
This
Yeah,
card's
it's
fun.
great. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Warhorse Trainer, also fun. 3 for 2/4 pally card. Your silver hand recruits have +1 attack. So it's like a little mini quartermaster. I think this is gonna be fun for, trading some stuff in, getting value all of a sudden. 3 for 2/4. I like those stats. I like those stats especially for Paladin. I think we can, make this C play. It's a little awkward to play, like, in that it takes up the same slot as Muster for Battle. So if you Muster for Battle and then you play Warhorse Train, you're like, okay, well, that didn't use my mana super efficiently. So, I mean, maybe it's turn 5, you can, like, Hero Power and then play Warhorse Trainer, but I don't know. It seems like a little bit awkward potentially, but I mean, I think it's really, really great for Arena. It's a common card. It's gonna get you some beneficial trades, and I don't know. I think it's neat.
Yeah. It's very similar to Leok, except
Yeah.
it's only your silver hand recruits that are getting buffed, but I mean, you get to choose when you want it. So, It's not bad.
Right. Yeah. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Charged Hammer.
Charged Hammer, 4 cost, 2/4, Shaman Weapon, Death Rattle. Your hero power becomes deal 2 damage. I think this is the one card, when we really looked at the Shaman meta, that seems to be upcoming. The one that I am so hyped for. And again, Shaman card. It's like they know. I'm so hyped for the upcoming Shaman meta. But I feel like this is the one that really goes, okay, so don't get too carried away with Totem Shaman. Like, that doesn't have to be the only kind of deck that gets run. And it may still be the only kind of deck that gets run, but I feel like this is specifically for an aggro-based Shaman. Something that you want to be not worrying about the RNG of the totems, not wanting to drop totems every turn. It basically becomes a miniature Shadow Priest when that dies, and I feel like there are certain kind of Shaman decks that are going to really take it and run with that, but it is specifically juxtaposed to the sort of totem-based cards we've seen so far. So it's interesting that it's like all of these meta cards, but hey, there's also this. Don't forget. So I'm interested. I am intrigued to see the kind of Shaman decks that arise that sort of make use of this deck, if there are any at all. This card, not deck. I can. Harrison Insurance. I just saw a thing in chat.
Harrison Insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Play this before your Doomhammer.
yeah, and it's sort of like you think, well, I have to play this, and then I have to hit with it 4 times, and I can't even play it until turn 4. Like, ugh, that sucks. But I mean, you could play it on turn 4, hit with it once, and then play Doomhammer next turn, and then you'd still get the Death Rattle. So like, you can always break your own weapon and get the Death Rattle.
Yeah.
Which I think gives it maybe a little versatility. It's different. It's kind of cool. It doesn't quite fit, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just kind of different.
Just need to do some brewing to figure out, if it fits anywhere.
The only thing I'm interested too is, are we gonna at any point see silence your opponent's weapon? Like with all sorts of, like, especially now there are more Death Rattle weapons that keep popping up. do you guys think? And that's not something. That's just a hypothetical. But like in the future, I'd be interested to see if they're like, drop this card, silence your opponent's weapon, boom, death bite, boom, charged hammer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, maybe when there are more targets, I feel like maybe more likely is like a silence any character,
Yeah.
and then you can maybe target heroes, and then maybe that would be, because then like you could unfreeze your own hero too. Maybe something like that would be kind of cool. As
Yeah,
long
I
as
think
it
something
applied
that
to-
unfreezes other than silence would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Fist of Jiraxis. The Fist.
4 mana, Warlock card. When you play or discard this, deal 4 damage to a random enemy. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to play 4 mana, deal 4 random damage. I want to play Fireball. And I'm like, all of the ways you're really going to be discarding this. Okay, I'm not playing Succubus. Okay, I'm not playing Soulfire. I'm playing Doomguard, but I want to play Doomguard on an empty hand already because I could ditch this and something else good. So like the only thing that I'm even remotely gonna ditch this card with is a Doomguard because I'm not playing Deathwing. So I don't like it at all. I just don't like this card.
The only thing I can say is like, yes, exactly what you said. Like you're not playing Succubus, you're not playing Soulfire, but with a lot of these cards, and as we go through them, we'll see like there are specifically when you discard this, when you discard that, and we're not doing that now. We're not playing cards that discard now, but it feels like they're trying to introduce a new meta where, hey, discarding can have some value and can be positive, it can be playable. I don't know how many people will really waste their time because that is more RNG based than even Shaman used to be, and I don't know, but it's an interesting mechanic that we will start seeing in some decks. The Succubus, the Soulfire, things that discard Fist of Jiraxis because will be an intended mechanic. Don't know how much we'll see it, but it is a possibility now where it wasn't before.
No, definitely. It's definitely very different. But I just don't know how. I don't know. This is one you really got to see. You really got to see someone put together a discard Warlock deck, and then before like you can sort of believe it. Yeah.
Kalento.
Yeah.
Kalento.
Okay. Alex Straza's champion. 2/3 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and charge. I know Latoan is like super excited about all this dragon nonsense. Also, that art is amazing. I mean, so 2 for a 3/4 charge. This is a warrior card. I mean, that's like insane. Warrior actually gets the 4 for a 4/3 charge. So if you think about that, like 2 for a 3/4 charge is insane. I mean, are we gonna see? Can we see Dragon Warrior? Is that a thing? I mean,
it sort of is a
yeah, it is.
Like it's sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a thing. I mean, you play Alex Straza in like a control-ish warrior. Maybe this could have a place in like a dragony face-ish kind of warrior. I don't know. I think this opens up a lot of different opportunities for warrior to expand from the 2 archetypes of patron and control that it has now. And I know that there's space warrior. I know that there's like sort of dragon warrior already, but I think this allows us to like delve more into those different archetypes a little bit more and see if there's anything there worth playing. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, maybe more of a mid-rangey warrior.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's a really good card.
Yeah.
A
Right?
2 mana 3/3 charge. Like, damn.
Oh right, it's not a 3/4, it's a 3/3. Right? That's my bad.
Yeah, but I mean, like, still, like Wolf Rider on roids. It's really good.
Yeah.
I promise you I'll be making a Dragon Warrior.
Good. I want to see it.
Yeah. All right. Give me your list when you make it amazing.
it's
When you hit legend with, because I know you're going to. I know you're gonna hit legend with like some ridiculous shaman or warrior deck. So I'm just gonna watch your stream and copy everything.
And
you
it's
do.
going to be beautiful.
Oh.
All right. Astral Communion.
All right, I feel honestly that this is way overhyped. I mean, at first when I saw it, I was like, holy shit. Like, yes, this is cool. 10 mana crystals. Like, at first, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I read the discard your hand, and then I thought late game, and then I thought just, I don't want to discount the value of getting 10 mana crystals on turn 4. But what if you're drawing this turn 8? What if you're drawing this turn 7? What if you're drawing, turn 10? It loses value the later you play it in the game, and you basically have to hope. Like, yes, the opening of, like, the Innervate, get the 10 mana, but then you're still behind, because you still don't have a hand. You're still having to draw into one while your opponent can sit there, especially against aggro. Can you imagine having no hand? I think that the art is beautiful, especially on gold. It's gorgeous. And sure, there may be a lot of really great potential. I just don't. Yeah. I think that people, when they saw it, they were like, yes. But then when they actually go to play it, they'll be like, no. I don't want to lose this Thorson or this. Yeah.
In the rare event that you do get, like, Innervate, Coin, Astral Communion, and then you top deck Jeeves, like, in that rare occasion, you will probably win.
Right.
But every other occasion, you will probably cry.
Right.
Because you will have no cards.
Yep. Cards are kind of important, I hear. Lancebearer.
Alright, 2 mana, 1/2 neutral, battle cry, give a friendly minion +2 attack. The thing is, if you're playing this on turn 2, then that means you're giving your turn 1 minion +2 attack, or the minion that you coined a 2-drop. And even then, it's still a 1/2 on 2. So I guess your 1-drops can trade up, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And if I have my zombie chow, then bam, I got my 4/3 zombie chow. That's great. But I don't know. It just feels weak to me. Like, probably decent in arena. And I think it's permanent +2 attack, correct? It's not like a Dark Iron temporary buff.
Right.
So maybe a more aggressive deck, it could work. I could sort of see this in a zoo-ish deck. But I don't know. I'm a little torn on this one.
I would rather be playing, I don't know, anything with better stats than this on turn 2 if I were playing zoo. Mm-hmm. I think. I don't know. It might be okay in arena. I'm undecided. He'll have to prove himself to me.
I don't know. I think it could be. It's not. Like, it is very similar to, like, an abusive sergeant, except it gives the permanent buff. But even I'd rather it be a 2 mana 2/1 that gave me +2 attack. I just feel like the 1 attack is so weak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to see this one, because I think maybe I could be completely wrong and it might be really good, but I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll find out. Cut Purse. Is this me? I forget.
It is.
Okay, Cut Purse. 2 for 2/2. This is a rogue card. When this minion attacks the enemy hero, put a coin into your hand. I think this is so cool. I don't know, Latoan, is the gold art, is he like, are the coins like falling? Is it look cool?
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but I hope that it looks like that. I think this is super cool on turn 2 because even if it doesn't necessarily demand to be answered, I think the intimidation factor is so real. Like,
especially if you're a rogue with combo pieces.
Exactly. And, like, your opponent doesn't know what's in your hand, and they're like, oh my god, they're going to start getting coins, and they're going to start setting off all this crazy combo-wombo stuff, and, like, I gotta use my Frostbolt on this, even if you're like, I'm sitting over here with, like, no combo cards, and, like, I don't really have a lot, but, like, okay, like you can go ahead and use your resources to get rid of my 2/2, that's fine. I just really, really love this card. It makes me want to play Rogue, to be completely honest.
I feel like this card is, like, it looks really good, and yeah, it enables combos really well, and, like, I want it to be really good, but if I'm playing this on turn 2, like, how likely is it that I'm even going to hit face with this at any point? Like, I don't know. And like, there's no way that this is hitting face more than one time, I can think. Unless your opponent's hand was so heavy that they literally have nothing. So, like, at best, I could see getting, like, 1 coin from this.
I would really love to say, like, when this minion deals damage.
Yes. If it was just when it attacked, that'd be good. Because then you could still trade with something. You wouldn't have to lose your board to gain combo potential.
Right. But okay, Cora, think about how many times you've pushed like 6 damage with a zombie chow.
I have.
And I know that's a
But
turn
it's
1
zombie
play.
chow.
I know that's turn 1 and this is turn 2, but like, I think it's possible. I think it's possible that there are going to be times when you're going to be like, give me all your money, give me your coins. I don't know. And I think in that situation it's going to be really cool.
Potential, just gosh, just
It could happen. I want to see this. I mean, this card, I'm not denying this card is super fun.
it's one we
And I that more of like a value rogue type thing could be pretty cool. So
Absolutely.
maybe with the Shadow Pan Cavalry.
Ooh, the
Ooh.
plays.
The combo potential.
You'll see Gallywix back in action.
Yeah, Gallywix. Oh,
I love Gallywix. Okay, that's a tangent for another
okay.
time.
All right. That's
Gallywix.
fair.
So good.
Let's talk about
So
Ice
good.
Howl.
Ugh.
All right, where do I even start with Ice Howl? 9 cost, 10/10, legendary, charge, can't attack heroes. Oh, that thing's either gonna get big game huntered by. I don't know which will come first, the big game hunter from your opponent or the silence from you. I don't know, but I'm not sold on it being like a staple in a deck because there's still a lot that you could probably do more effectively for 9 mana, but still being able to drop that thing down and kill whatever's on the board, like that's a Ragnaros removal, that's almost an Ysera removal. You can get it down. I mean, I don't know, probably not Ysera, but like it gets rid of cards. It's basically like an effective whatever I'm hitting with this is going to die. But when you think that, unless you're silencing it so that it can hit the face, isn't it still more effective to play some kind of hard removal other than a 9 cost that's just so susceptible to... I mean, it's cool, and it's got a lot of like swing potential, a lot of damage that it can put out, and a lot of versatility that it could use. I just think there's maybe better 9-drops, and I think there are maybe better just outright hard removals than a 9-cost minion that's going to sap up a whole turn to play.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this card for the reason I hate Flame Lance. It's just, it can't go face, and
Yeah.
I'd rather use a polymorph.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless maybe, unless you do taunt it up, then yeah, they gotta go through it. But what if they have polymorph?
Very anti-smork.
Problem solved. Very anti-smork. But, and 9 mana is just so heavy. So you play it, you hit a minion, but then you can't do anything with it that turn. You can't taunt it up, you can't silence it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not
The only
awful.
thing I can say is maybe the lucky, like, this is getting dropped out by Varian Wren. But I mean,
That would be pretty cool. That would be
that's
cool.
the dream, though. We can't survive
That
on
would
the
be
dream.
pretty cool.
No, can't survive on the dream, but that's a pretty sweet dream. I like that dream. Okay, Healing Wave.
Healing Wave. 3 mana, Shaman Rare. Restore 7 health. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, restore 14 instead. Everybody is saying this card is bananas. And I agreed with them until I heard Kevin Cookies' giant, long Healing Wave sucks rant. And then, like, I am so torn on this card. Because Kevin does a good rant.
I haven't heard
But,
the
like,
rant. I probably should look at it.
Basically, the gist of the rant is if you're already in the position to need 14 health as a shaman, you've already lost the game. So, like, because shaman relies heavily on board, and if they lose the board, then they don't really have the comeback mechanisms because they don't have the card draw and they don't have, that much direct damage unless you're playing like a burst shaman. So it's sort of a, if you need 14 health, you're probably already dead. But with the new cards, there might be a deck that gets the board control, but gets hit in the face a little bit, and then by the time you're ready to start, killing them, you're almost dead. So then you Healing Wave, and then you win, and it's just like I'm so torn on this one. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I maybe should take a look at the rant, and it may like show me some perspective of what I need to do differently. Think about this, but what I'm thinking is like, okay, that is one less cost. So that's one less health that you're getting than you are getting from a heal bot. And while yes, the heal bot is a body on board, this costs less and has the potential to heal you for so much more. And when you're thinking about control-oriented decks, which is what this is obviously seems to be a shift to, I'll keep this short. When you keep this at a shift to a control, a lot of times you're getting hit in the face really fast by aggro. So I like it, and I'm hopeful for it. And I feel like it would be one that's a good one for, like, run one of them in your shaman deck. Maybe.
I hate this card. I hate cards that only heal I think are always bad. I think they look good. I love life gain more than most players, I think, and I think this card is bad. I don't like cards that only do life gain. I would much rather have a heal bot. I would much rather have just anything on a body than this. But I digress. Okay, Confuse. Who is it? Is it me? It's me. Confuse. Swap the attack and health of all minions. So it's like reversing switch everything. I guess like Priest could play. This is a Priest card? Is this a Priest card? This is a Priest card. Priest can just play all of their ridiculous, like you could play, I don't know, Deathlord, Tazdingo, Sludge Belcher, and then give it Power Word Shield and the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Divine Spirit and then Inner Fire.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Except you don't need the Inner Fire.
Except you don't need the Inner Fire. You can play Confuse and just go face. I mean, it's again, like, Priest has this kind of weird, like, combo wombo, make my guys huge and then hit you in the face all of a sudden and like, oh my god, what just happened? I went from 30 to 0. I don't know if this is going to see play aside from those kind of janky decks. And in fact, I do know it's not going to see play aside from those janky decks. I just don't know how much play those janky decks will see. My guess is not that much. Dreadsteed.
All right. For the sake of time, I'll just keep this one short. It's got a really great effect if it doesn't get silenced. Yeah, you get really great is gracious. It's got a nice effect if it doesn't get silenced and you keep it up on the board and maybe with synergy with other cards. I would rather be doing other things with my time. 4 cost for this. Yes, you're getting the potential for more coming out, but unless you're just buffing them with somehow like the Miraculous Dream Mal'Ganis board, then it's still just 1/1s. It's like this ball of spiders. Mm-hmm. Too much cost for too little reward, in my opinion. And again, I don't play too much lock. I don't play as much lock as other people, so maybe there are people who are like, yes, Dreadsteed! But
I don't think anybody has ever said, yes, Dreadsteed. Unless they're saying, yes, I will never play a Dreadsteed.
Yes, that's 100 dust!
Literally, the only reason to play this is if you want to play Anima Golem.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Because if they don't have a silence, I guess your Anima Golem doesn't die. Unless it's like Big Game Hunter. But like, this card sucks.
It's terrible.
It's so bad.
It's terrible. Let's move on to Sea Reaver.
Sea Reaver. 6 mana, 6/7 warrior epic. When you draw this card, deal 1 damage to all your minions.
Okay, Grim Patron.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of an interesting card. It's a Boulder Fist Ogre that potentially is a free whirlwind on your patron board if you draw it. But I mean, what if you have nothing on your board? Then it's just a 6-drop that is an Emperor Thaurissan.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Could be good, usually pretty bad. But not bad stats, cool art. Yeah. Effect is decent. It's like, it's bad for the same reason Flame Leviathan is pretty bad. Because you can't control it. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you're not going to want it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Lights Champion, 3 for a 4/3 Battlecry, silence a demon? Okay.
Dreadsteed! That nobody's
yeah, silence a Dreadsteed. Silence Mal'Ganis, I guess, is maybe what they're going for. Silence a Voidcaller, just... I mean, the stats are okay. I'm not totally sure what they were going for with this. I mean, I guess it's like interesting tech if you're running into a ton of warlocks and you're just like, you want to like, you know, be a jerk to warlocks if they're being a jerk to you, kind of like Kazan is like being a jerk to but at least Kazan is like being a jerk to a few different classes and you get a card out of it and they lose a card out of it, whereas like this like weird silence, I don't know, I don't like it. I feel like it might be better to run like the 4-drop silencer that can silence anything.
The Spellbreaker.
Yeah, Spellbreaker. I just think this card is weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Too specific.
Yeah, I think so. All right, this is the MVP of the night, probably.
God, yes.
My favorite.
So hyped for Varian Rin. Like, of all, like, this is the only one of the warrior cards that made me go, yes! Like, okay, big game hunter target, fine, whatever. 10 cost mana, fine, whatever. And yeah, sometimes you're gonna get, I should probably read the stats. 10 cost, 7/7 legendary, which is Varian freaking Rin. Battle cry, draw 3 cards, but any minions you draw directly into the battlefield. Sometimes you're gonna get a really, really horrible. Sometimes you're gonna lose your Alexstrasza to this. Sometimes you're gonna lose things that you really, really want to have a battle cry, or they're like super low cost. But at the same time, sometimes you're gonna get the ice guy, whatever his name was, or sometimes you're gonna get like Ragnaros thrown out. Sometimes you're gonna get Grommash thrown out. Like 3 minions. It doesn't matter. He may die to the big game hunter, but you're still looking at any minions you possibly get. Or you draw spells because you're me and your luck is terrible. But any minions you possibly get, boom, hits the field running.
But
just
even if you draw spells, you get a
And that's
7/7
3
body,
cards you drew.
and then you draw 3 cards.
Yes!
And that's like, and that's the worst possible thing that happens is you play a 7/7 that draws you 3 cards.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
the worst case.
Yep. This card's
That's
insane.
not bad. That's not bad.
Also, I need him to say something when played against a priest. If he doesn't say something when played
He
against a
better-
priest, I'm
he
going to be
better
so
say so. Because Illidan and Malfurion interact, they had better interact. I can't see them not interacting.
They're gonna interact.
That's good. So good.
It's gonna happen. I
so
can't
good.
wait. I can't wait. So
So-
excited to see this.
Plus, he's a babe.
Plus, he's a babe. Look at that hair, though. Look at that jawline.
Oh, the flow.
Cut
10
glass
mana's
with
worth
that.
of flow.
Okay.
Oh, the stream just dissolves at the giggles.
Roasted.
Right at it.
Yep. Not the first time. Not the first time we've dissolved into giggles. I like this. Okay.
We had our
Ronan.
girl moments
Ooh,
that
Ronan's
haven't
hot
died.
too. Ronan's like a
Ronan's
hot ginger.
Shelby!
Yeah.
Shelby!
Steal my soul any day. Come on.
OTP. Oh.
8 mana, 7/7, 3 copies of Arcane Missiles. Death Rattle. It's pretty good. Next card. No, he's pretty good. It's not bad.
He's been good in Brawl. He's been good in this week's
Yeah.
Brawl.
Please
It's
don't
just-
do what I
it's
did,
just
though,
solid.
and lethal with them, because that's 9 damage. And I was like, oh yeah, I have these arcane missiles. My opponent's at 8 health. I'm gonna play this minion instead of playing the 3 arcane missiles. Like,
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. Exactly.
He gives
I think
you-
it's cool.
He gives you more than Avenging Wrath damage. That's pretty good. And you can combo it with Antonitis. And he's a ginger
Yeah.
babe.
Ooh,
And he's a ginger
Yep.
babe.
Ooh.
Ginger babe.
Yep. Okay, moving on to not so much a good looker as the last 2 cards.
What are you talking about? Ram Wrangler's so
Ram
hot.
Wrangler. Ooh, okay. 5 for the 3/3 battle cry. If you have a beast, summon a random beast. So this was also in the Brawl this week. I found myself like playing Unleash the Hounds at inoptimal times because I also had this card and I just wanted to see what beast I was gonna get from it. I mean, you can get Hungry Crab, you can get Savannah Highmane, you can get King Crush. Like, again, the RNG is real. I don't really see this seeing a lot of play. I guess we can go back to having like super beast centered decks, but still, I'm guessing you would rather have Houndmaster than Ram Wrangler. You would rather master the hounds than wrangle the rams, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm picking
so
up what you're putting down.
Thank
oh,
you.
Shelby, you're saying words.
I'm saying words coming at you.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
yeah,
I feel like
that's-
if it wasn't if you have a beast, summon a random beast. If he was just summon a random beast, that's not
Yeah.
bad. But I feel like because you have to have a beast already, it's like meh. I don't know.
This hunter is real.
That's the emote. He comes out and he goes, meh. Okay, alright. Tuskar Totemic.
Oh my gosh. Did we
We've
do the
done that
Tuskar
one.
Totemic already?
We
Yes, okay.
did.
So it's pushing on
So Spawn of Shadows. Yes.
4 cost, 5/4, inspire, deal 4 damage to each hero. I mean, I mean, I don't love this card. I don't hate this card. I don't love this card. But it's basically like a big boy Shadow Bomber, and maybe it's
boy
great
Shadow
if
Bomber.
you are healing.
Big boy
You're healing yourself back out of the range, but just I'd rather not deal 4 damage to my own face just to deal 4 to theirs. I think there's
Yeah.
better cards to play on turn 4.
I think there's a reason nobody plays Shadow Bomber.
There's a reason that it is the only
Gonna-
gold card I've ever had that I've disenchanted that wasn't legendary.
Oh my gosh. I can't blame you for that.
I don't
All
know.
right.
I think it's cool in Aggro Priest. I think if we're gonna see like the flash heal with Akanai, maybe we
Mhm.
could see Spawn of Shadows.
Maybe.
I didn't even think about that.
We're probably not gonna see it.
But then we might see Shadow Bomber, and then you might want
Yeah.
your gold Shadow Bomber back.
Yes, you might live to regret that day.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, Saboteur.
Saboteur. 3 mana for 3 battle cry. Your opponent's hero power costs 5 more next turn. It's a low threat for hero powers.
Yep.
And it's got good stats.
Yep.
So I mean, depending on how much, obviously spells are more valuable than hero powers, but depending on how much the hero power really starts to matter and how important Inspire decks are, good card.
Good tech against the Inspire Mage that you'll see all
Definitely.
the time.
Super solid. Good card. Good job, Blizzard. Proud of you.
We like it.
Recruiter. 5 for a 5/4 Inspire. Add a 2/2 Squire to your hand, so it's the same Squire that you get from the
Ready, sir.
Yes, ready, sir. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool. It comes to your hand. Does it cost 2 to play? I see.
They're 1 mana.
They're one mana.
2/2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's a lot of value. I think 5 for a 5/4 isn't terrible. If you think about how you play 5 for a 4/4 and a 2/2 with the other card, here you have a little more even stats and you get the 2/2 back to your hand, but you have to Inspire first. So it's like, are you waiting? This is again the problem. Like, are you waiting to play this on turn 7? Like, this sort of card I can actually see being played more on turn 5 than on turn 7, just because the Inspire mechanic isn't like game changing, or like you're not like, I have to get my 2/2 or else. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay if you just want to drop it and Inspire next turn. I can see that being okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
sort of like when you drop Harrison on 5, even though they
Right.
don't have weapons. You're like, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Tempo. Tempo is real. Confessor Pale.
Palatress, I think it's Palatress.
I think so too.
think so.
7 cost 5/4. Inspire summon a random legendary minion. I'm so hyped for this card. And then she's from the same, in lore wise, she's from the same dungeon as Edric the Pure, and she's sort of like a side boss type thing. And what she does is she summons up these things with like your fears, and she summons up like Edwin Van Cleef randomly and whatnot. So it's so on theme, and I just love
Cool.
that. But also like, she may die before you ever get her out, but that is an automatic soft taunt because they are going to be gunning for her, because no one is going to want to leave off something that every time you do your hero power is going to summon a random legendary minion.
Nope.
Nobody's going to want that. So she's either dead to a removal that you're not going to have to worry about elsewhere, or you're going to get some really good value out of her, and I think that it's really exciting. I love cards like this. Dislike the RNG aspect, dislike that it doesn't always work, but I love cards that like add a certain level of excitement to the game, like, ooh, what am I
Yeah.
going to get from this?
Yeah. I think it's going
We'll
to be
see.
super
I'm
fun.
I'm excited.
I mean, I love it. I think it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's not the best card, but I'm totally gonna try it.
It's totally the best card.
I'm totally gonna try it.
Totally
It's so
good.
fun.
Yeah, I'm
At
excited.
least it isn't a big game hunter target like Velen.
There we go.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Dice to Shredder, but you can't big game it.
Dice to Shredder after you've already created
Drop it
Ragnaros.
turn 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn 9.
See Sarah.
Yep,
Something
exactly. Boom. Okay, Dragon Hawk Rider.
3 mana, 3/3 neutral. Inspire, gain Wind Fury this turn. So 3 mana, 3/3 is like pretty standard. Like I feel like the 3/4s become more of like the go-to 3 drop stats. But 3/3 is fine. And Inspire, gain Wind Fury this turn. So it's sort of like the young Dragonhawk. You get it? Like the Dragonhawk Rider. But you have to hero power to get the Wind Fury. So I feel like if it was like a 3 mana, 3/3 Wind Fury, that's pretty good. I still don't know that people would always play that because it gets killed pretty easily, but that's pretty good. But the fact that you have to Inspire for Wind Fury, and it doesn't have charge especially. I don't know. It's meh. Decent in Arena.
Yeah, that's a good point if you think about Whirling Zap-O-Matic.
Mhm.
But also if you think about Raging Worgen. This is
Yes.
kind of on par with Raging Worgen, I
Mhm.
think. Maybe it's a little worse than Raging Worgen.
I think it's a little bit worse
Yeah.
because Raging Worgen. Yeah, because Raging Worgen, the very next turn, you don't have to do anything. Well, I mean, you have to attack something with less than 3 attack, but
Right.
you don't have to waste any of your next turn's mana or lose any tempo to get that Wind Fairy effect. Whereas, I mean, this one could just attack face twice. It doesn't have to attack another minion.
Right.
I don't
that's
know.
fair. Yeah, they're comparable, though. I think they're
Yeah.
comparable.
Very similar.
Undercity Valiant. 3 for 3/2 combo, deal 1 damage. This is a rogue card. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure about this card. It's a common. I think it's perfect for arena. I pick, like, you know, vanilla 3/2s all the time, or 2/3s all the time, just because it's nice to have 2-drops. So a 2-drop that also does something, maybe if you wanted to, is always nice. I don't know. I can't really decide if this card has a place, because I think you want to be saving some of your combo things for SI Agent.
Yeah, it's sort of a smaller disguised toast.
Yeah, it is like a disguised toast, but smaller. But then you're like, okay, well, I just used my coin, or I just used my backs. Like
Yeah.
coin, Undercity Valiant to get rid of like Leper Gnome or Clockwork Gnome is nice, but very specific and circumstantial.
Yeah,
So-
or you could like coin into the disguised toast to get rid of a knife juggler or something. I don't know.
Right.
I feel like if you have one, you're probably going to want the other two when you can't have both.
Yeah. So I think perfect in arena, exactly what I wanted in arena. Probably not going to see much constructive play. Okay.
I just it's my chair.
Nice job.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
pro. Sideshow Spell Eater.
6 cost, 6/5 by Sideshow Spell Eater Battlecry. Copy your opponent's hero power. The first thing I thought when I saw this card is, well, for the people who don't love the new shaman aspect, this is going to be the shaman card that just gets thrown in, like, bye totems, adios. Other than that, though, like, I don't really see... I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see it being used in too many other decks, because typically when you've got the other classes, they really rely on the hero power. Like, Mage really relies on the ping, and Hunter on the... Although Hunter may take, or Mage may want to take, like, the 2 damage, or Hunter may want to take the ping. I don't know. But typically, I feel like the only class that'll be really gunning to use this as a staple in there will be those people who want to play Shaman but don't want to play Totem Shaman. Because it gets rid of that whole... That hero power has been such a weak point for people for so long. It's really
Yeah.
the most value I see coming from Spell Eater.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe like if Justicar gets too crazy and like everyone starts playing it, I guess you could make an argument for this coming more into the meta, but I don't know why you would want to steal someone else's hero power when you could just also play Justicar for yourself and know exactly what your hero power is going to be.
If oh shoot. Yeah, I mean if the Major Domo Executus, if your opponents end up being Ragnaros 9 out of 10 times, or Jiraxis that other one time, then you're like, man, my hero power is never good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Seal of Champions.
Seal of
Sorry,
Champions.
sorry.
Oh, dog.
Seal.
It's a 3-mana paladin card. Give a minion plus 3 attack and divine shield. It's not awful. It's basically valuing a divine shield at around 2 mana, but it's putting the divine shield and the blessing of might in the same card, so they're valuing convenience a little bit high. I don't know if it'll be used too much. Pretty good in arena. Might actually see some play in sort of an aggro paladin, but not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, I think it's possible for Aggro Paladin to be using this, but I'm not totally sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess you don't care that much about the Divine Shield
Yeah.
for 3. I don't know. I think it's possible. It's possible that they'll add in 1 or 2 of those. Refreshment Vendor. Yes, I love this card. 4 for 3/5 battle cry, restore 4 health to each hero, and he just throws carrots at you.
Does
And,
he
like,
really?
Yeah, so like he throws a carrot
That's
to you
so
and your
funny.
opponent at the same time, and then you like get four health. It's great. I forget what he says, but I just love this card. I love the flavor of it. I think this is fine stats for a 3/5. I'm not sure what place this has in constructed, if any place in constructed. I think this is kind of a cool pick for arena. Yeah, again, I'm not sure if this would have a place in constructed, but man, it's a cool card.
It
So,
is.
I don't
It's
care.
cool. It's fun.
Uh,
It's a walrus eating a turkey leg.
yeah, what's not to like about that?
I love it.
Okay, Pit Fighter.
Onward to Pit Fighter. Not much to say other than ooh, that got bright all of a sudden. Not much to say other than vanilla 5.56 game for it. Really, really hyped for the upcoming like just vanillas. Throw down a Defender of Argus in between them if you have to, but heck, you don't care if they get silenced. Just play it down. Arena, I feel like these are gonna really shine. In Arena and all of my animals. Mute oncoming. 1 second.
The cat loves the pit fighter. Cat's like, yeah,
Cat's
vanilla's
like, yeah.
rock.
I mean, this does, like, if you think about Spider Tank and
Yeti.
the 6/7, like, this is just, we needed this, I think.
It's the thing between the Yeti and the Boulder Stoker.
Exactly.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Perfect. I'm surprised we didn't have this beforehand.
Yeah. Cool.
Magnetar Alpha.
Magnetar Alpha. 4-mana 5/3 warrior card also damages the minions next to whomever he attacks. So it's basically a little faux reaper, but it's for warriors. And I'm not sure how useful it's going to be, because faux reaper is not that useful, and faux reaper's got 9 health. And this guy's only got 3 health. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and when they attack you, it does not.
Right.
The effect does not happen.
Right.
So that's saying you got to play it on turn 4, and it has to live until turn 5. And with 3 health, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
yeah.
Like, just give it stealth somehow.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Captured Jormonger. Yormonger? Not sure.
I don't
7 for a 5/9 beast. It's beast, but I don't think it will see play in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you pick it in arena. I don't really see myself picking this in arena.
Basically, you flip Corehound's stats,
Yeah.
and it's not bad.
Yeah. I would rather have this than a Corehound.
Not bad. Like, I don't hate it. It's got the beast synergy. If you Houndmaster it, it's a big game hunter target, so that's not very good. But
But in
maybe,
arena,
yeah, in arena, it's pretty good.
yeah, I don't know. It's a card because you got to get to
Mm-hmm.
200 or 132 cards, and sometimes you just need to throw cards like this in there.
You just need a
So,
card.
Yeah, exactly. So Frenching.
Slap.
Ooh, I said Frenching coach. Ooh, ooh la la.
Should we go back and talk about
Scandalous.
Barry and Rain a little bit more?
Ooh, Frenching coach. Very nice.
Night
Okay.
Owl boys. Goodness.
Fencing coach, however, is gonna teach you to do something completely different.
Oh, is he? Interesting.
Okay, I'll take this one since I think Latoa just walked away. So 3 for a 2/2 battle cry. The next time you use your hero power, it costs 2 less. I think this is pretty cool. You just set yourself up on turn 3 to have a free hero power this turn, next turn. I don't know. Whenever you feel like it. I'm not sure that's gonna see constructed play though.
I feel like this one could be really strong if you really plan out what turn you're going to want the hero power that you can't afford it.
Right.
So, like, say you play this with Confessor Palatrus. Like, if you play this on, like, maybe you play this on turn 4 and then you save it until turn 7 when you play Confessor Palatrus, then you heal on the same turn, then you get your legendary. Well, then suddenly that's not bad anymore. Play this with Wilfred Fizzlebang, suddenly he's not an 8 mana for 4/4, he's a 6 mana, and then you get your hero power for free. So, like, I feel like you really need to save this for when it's most valuable, and then it makes those bad cards a lot better.
Whoa,
also
that's
the
totally good
separate-
point.
Boom. If you play him on turn 3, you can also hero power. I mean, more it goes towards what you're saying, but also like what I was saying before with that tempo stuff. Like, hey, sometimes you just want to be able to do both on turn 3, and you can with that.
Cora just
True
blew
dat.
my mind a little bit. You just blew my mind a little bit about all those cards that we've been saying. Like, this isn't actually a 5 drop. This is a 7 drop.
This
no, it's
is
not.
the card that makes them
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Okay, this just went from like a 6 to like a 9 in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And that hair.
Convert or convert? I guess it's convert because it's
Yeah.
verbing. I don't know who. I guess Latoan? I guess.
Oh, okay. Put a copy of each enemy minion, or put a copy of an enemy minion into your hand at 2 cost. Honestly, in my opinion, Mind Game. If you're gonna run a card like this, Mind Games is better because at least it throws it down on the field. I like the art for it. I like the thought, but Mind Vision is cheaper, and Mind Games goes ahead and plays it for you. So I don't see this being a super reliable card in Constructed. I don't even know if it would be a super reliable card in Arena. You guys are better on that front than I am. But I just think if you're gonna play a card like that, Mind Games or Mind Vision.
It's like sort of a gang up, but it goes to your hand and it only gives you 1 copy. It's like if your opponent has a Sylvanas, then you can be like, convert. Okay, now I have a Sylvanas in my hand. So like in those cases, it's not bad. Like it's got some potential.
Yeah, you're right. I'm completely misreading the card. Like
No,
completely.
see,
was
I did that
comparing
the first time
myself from
too.
The deck. Yeah. Okay.
The first time I totally thought it was like put a copy of an enemy minion in your opponent's hand into your hand. I'm like, wait, you get to look at your opponent's hand. This is the best card ever. And then they're like, no, Laura, read the card. You're stupid. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, no, it's definitely it's similar to Gang Up, but you get 1 copy and it's in your hand. So in that case, not terrible, not bad.
Yeah.
Like
It's
doesn't
okay.
suck.
Doesn't suck. Always good. Enter the Coliseum.
Okay, 6 mana Paladin card. Destroy all minions except each player's highest attack minion. Nobody's gonna play it in Constructed. Nobody's gonna want to play it in Arena. Basically, Brawl is better and it costs 1 mana less. Yeah, that's sort of like my 2 cents on this one. It's just not. It's a weird concept for a card, and it's not super effective, I don't think.
This is a Paladin card, though, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, like, yeah, Brawl is better. Like, Flame Strike is better, but I mean,
But if I want a Paladin removal on turn 6,
yeah,
I want a
Consecration.
Consecration.
Okay, that's a good
So I
point.
mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it sort of puts them together into 1 card, but then you're potentially destroying a couple of your minions too, and maybe your minions still can't kill their minion. I don't know. Maybe pretty good against aggro if you make it to turn 6,
Right.
which you might not.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was then. Mogre's Champion, 6 for an 8/5, 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. What are you doing here? Why are you a card? This
card
is not
sucks.
playable in any format that I have ever known
I'm
ever.
going to play this card.
Let's
is
not
terrible.
let's do ourselves a favor and just say this is bad. You should feel bad, and then go on to mulch.
Mulch. Mulch.
When
All
I
right.
get there, is anyone really gonna run mulch? I mean, if you're gonna do the destroy and give them a random minion, isn't it better just the 1 cost naturalize and let them draw 2? They're gonna get eventually anyway, rather than giving them more ammunition that could be like a Ragnaros or could be something really scary. Yeah, it could be like a web spinner or a stone test boar. But I would, if I was gonna run a card like this, naturalize, cheaper, feels less threatening to me.
Yeah, I think this card is not great. I think you're right.
Definitely
Naturalize
like
is
it
better.
more. I definitely like it more in Arena than Naturalize. Just because it's still like 2 cards versus 1 card, and potentially that card could be a Wisp, and yeah, potentially it could be a Tyrion, and then you're screwed. But it's basically saying 2 mana less than Assassinate, and a random minion is worth like 2 mana to them. I don't know. It's not terrible. I doubt it'll get constructed play, but I don't hate it. I think it's kind of a cool concept. It can either be really great or really terrible.
I bet the gold looks really cool too, with the
Yeah,
look
I like
turning
the
to
art.
mulch. Yeah, that's pretty
This
cool.
is cool.
Power Shot.
All right, 3 mana Hunter card. Deal 2 damage to a minion and the minions next to it. So it's basically like a BB explosive shot, and it's like an explosive trap, except you get to choose. It's not bad.
I think it's going to be a pretty good card.
I like it. I think Yeah, I mean, people are gonna be like, well, why wouldn't you just play Explosive Trap? That's 2 mana. And then I'm like, yeah, but then people, they just won't attack your face until they absolutely have to. This way, you know, if you have a bunch of minions on the board and you have board control and you want to remove their minions without sacrificing yours, Power Shot's the way to go versus Explosive Trap when you have no board.
Right.
So this is, if I want tempo, I want to protect my board, Power Shot. If I don't have a board, Explosive Trap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I like it. I think it's good.
Okay, Power Word Glory. 1 mana priest card. Choose a minion whenever it attacks. Restore 4 health to your hero. So Latone was talking earlier about how we have more face heal, which I think is a funny term, but face heal for priest.
Face heal.
And this is one of those things that's going to do that. I think this is going to be a cool card to combo. Like if we see a lot more of those cards, like those legendaries, that whenever you target with them with a spell, it has some sort of buff. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. There's also that 3/5 card, that dragon card, that whenever you target it, it gains +1/+1. So, I mean, maybe you could try to mess around with that. I think it's a cool card to try to mess around with, though I don't necessarily think it's worth having in your deck, because it takes up a card slot, which I kind of don't think it's worth a card slot. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know.
It's cool to mess around with, but at the end of the day, I think Power Word Shield's just better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to put one. Maybe it's a one of. Maybe.
Yeah.
In like a Fiola and Itis priest type thing.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. Tiny Knight of Evil.
I think the best thing about this card is
So
its name.
funny.
So
The teeny Knight of Evil. It's so small.
Adorable.
It's so bad.
It's great. It's
So
great.
mean.
So threatening, right? And I think this can be kept short. Just if you're going to make some kind of discard deck and you're going to work around that archetype, then this could become kind of scary. I'm withholding judgment on the discard archetype until I see it in action. So cute, potentially scary. Still just happy about my opponent discarding all of their cards.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Agreed.
Yeah. Void Crusher?
Okay, 6 mana, 5/4 Warlock card. Inspire, destroy a random minion for each player. My question is, can this card destroy itself?
I'm pretty sure it can.
Destroy a random minion for each player. Yeah.
If it's the only one on board, then
Yeah, then I mean... Yeah. 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 That's pretty
But-
odd.
But there's
Yeah.
possibly Dreadsteed.
Dreadsteed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Whoa, the synergy.
Oh my
Possibly, yeah.
gosh.
So
Or you could
OP.
play Siphon Soul.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Great
it's
point.
6 mana. It
Yeah.
destroys the minion that you
You
want
want
to
it to.
destroy. Ah.
Fair enough.
I don't know. It's a demon. Demons are cool.
It looks cool on gold. I can say that much. Looks pretty
Okay. Well, then that gives it some brownie points.
You could then play the 3 for a 4/3 Silence a Demon.
The
Whoa, synergy.
synergy is real.
It's
OP.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
OP. Best card.
Because who doesn't want to play a 6 mana 5/4? You know. Okay.
I'll play them all along.
The priest laughs all the way to the shadow word.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great
Shadow Word Bank.
point. The Shadow Word Bank.
Shadow word bank, like crossword puzzle.
Oh, perfect.
Oh my God.
Next level
Perfect.
jokes, you guys. Next level.
Just great.
Dark Bargain.
Oh boy.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay, Dark Bargain. Destroy 2 random enemy minions. Discard 2 random cards. Nah. I'm all set. I'm
Nobody's
good.
happy.
I'm good. I have no desire to play this card. No.
Yeah.
There's no
Nope.
like
Okay.
why wouldn't I just, like you said, run Siphon Soul, hang on to my cards, gain some life. I probably don't have to kill 2 minions anyway, and if I do really have to kill 2 minions, they're probably not the only 2 minions on the board.
Yeah.
So-
And then I'll just like Shadow Flame something.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have so many more options. So
Yeah.
bad card, don't like it. Dreadscale.
Dreadscale. Okay, I guess this is me. Well, this is one that is obviously this is a 3-cost 4/2 legendary for hunters, which is obviously supposed to be used in tandem with Acid Maw.
Yes.
It is the much more reasonably priced in mana cost of the two. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all other minions. I feel like this card may see play and will more than likely see a lot more play than its counterpart, especially if you're throwing it into like some kind of control deck and you're putting it out with like all sorts of little 1/1s up against. I would dream of this card against an aggro paladin. So I'm excited to see like if in some kind of like beast control what Dreadscale can do. Looking forward to him way more than his counterpart. That's good one for this. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think this is definitely way better than the other one. Evil Heckler!
Okay, so I will say that this card is a 100% better Booty Bay Bodyguard, which is like really lazy design, but whatever. And when he comes out, he basically heckles your opponent by saying your mother was a murloc and you smelled like a leper gnome.
Yep.
He's the only card I've ever seen that has 2 different like battle cry emotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So like he's like, boo you Blizzard for just not nerfing Booty Bay Bodyguard, but yay Blizzard, it's funny and I like it.
And it's a Monty Python reference, so it's like literally perfect. Yeah.
And it's good in Arena, so yeah.
You
like
smell like a leper gnome is like my favorite new insult.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Fearsome Doomguard. What? 7 for a 6/8 demon. Okay. That's cool.
Not bad.
That's okay. I might pick you in Arena occasionally, but probably not. This is not going to see constructed play. And we can move on with our lives to Ice Rager.
Pretty much the same thing
Yep.
to say about it as Fearsome Doomguard. May see some use in Arena. Is better than the Molten Rager, I suppose, or the fire version of this, whatever it's called.
Magma Rager.
But again, we'll
Yeah.
probably have my way to whatever little ping I have as I kill this 5 thing. It won't see constructed.
Nope.
Absolutely not. All right, here's Acid Maw.
All right, Acid Maw goes with the Dreadscale. Together they form the 10 mana super board wipe. 7 mana 4/2. Whenever another minion takes damage, destroy it. This was actually in in the Tavern Brawl this week, and people actually used it with Unleash the Hounds, which isn't bad. Keep in mind, if you damage your enemy's minion with your own minion, it does destroy your own minion if your own minion does not die. So it's whenever any minion takes damage, destroy it. And this does work for this card too. So you can run this card into another card, and it will destroy it, and then this card will die.
Right.
So, like, it's a cool effect. It's a max enough for everything else on the board, but it's so expensive. It's just so expensive.
For a 4/2.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just pricey.
Too pricey.
Ain't got time for that.
Nope, ain't no making time for that. Like, I'm not about the 10 mana 2-card combos. Like, give me a break. You're dead by then.
I'll play Deathwing if I want to remove the whole board for 10 mana.
Exactly. All right, Mysterious Challenger, 6 for 6/6. Love those stats. Battlecry, put one of each secret from your deck into the battlefield. What?
I love this card.
I freaked out when I saw this card. I like straight freaked out, and I was like, I have to do this. Like, this is my calling in life, is to play a secret paladin deck now. It's so freaking cool.
It is.
It's so freaking cool. Like, think about...
It's so balanced, too.
This card is so underrated, I feel.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad you guys like this card, because I really
Yeah.
like this card.
This is like one of my favorite cards. This is like top 5 for me from the set. Like, you think about how Mad Scientist gets you so much freaking value. Like, to pull the cards out of your deck so that you're not drawing them, so that you're like drawing gas. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't silence it. Like, the damage is done. I just got all of my... I mean, Paladin Secrets don't typically see very much play, but I think that might change with this card.
Paladin Secrets aren't as valuable, and because you're playing it on turn 6, you're more likely to draw them earlier, but if you get like a minimum of like 2 secrets from this card, that's good.
Yeah.
And like it thins out your deck, and even like if say you're playing like Noble Sacrifice and Avenge, if you get those 2, they work together.
Yeah,
they
do.
interact with each other.
Yep.
Like that's cool.
Perfect.
It's just
I love
cool.
it. I love this card. I'm so excited to play it. Orgrimmar Aspirant.
Man, I don't have much to say about this one. It's a balanced 3/3, 3 cost 3/3. It's a warrior specific. If you've got that weapon in the early game, if you've got the fiery war axe, but really fiery wind axe is kind of perfect as it is. Like, it's so great
It's
at
the
like getting
perfect
in
card.
what you need to kill.
Mhm.
And the card art just makes me feel like this is supposed to have charge and doesn't. So I don't know. It's just a card. It's just a card to me. It may end up being a nice little warrior staple, but I probably won't run it myself.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. It'll be fun in arena though, I think.
I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you draft weapons, which you should.
This
Sometimes you just can't.
card. This card.
This card.
Polymorph
This
4.
card.
Holy cow.
3 mana, transform a minion into a 4/2 boar with charge. It's 3 mana, make Huffer, but you have to give up something to make Huffer. So, potentially, it's somewhat of a removal for your opponent. It's 1 mana less than Polymorph for 1 more health on the minion. So it's somewhat removing something on your opponent's board, or say you're doing a really aggressive deck and you need 4 damage, you can Polymorph one of your own minions into a charge minion. So, I mean,
Be sure to attack first.
yes, be sure to attack
Yes.
before you enter. Yes. It's a cool card. It's a cool card.
I
It's like the
mean-
joke that everyone had, but it's not bad.
But yeah, I mean, we've been talking about options all night, like how it's great to have options, but like this, like talk about options, like this has been the MVP of Brawl for me. Like either
Yes.
you need 4 more face damage, boom, I got 4 more face damage, or like, oh no, they played the 5/6 with taunt. Guess what? It has 2
Yep.
toughness now. It's
Yeah.
dead. Like it's whatever you want it to be, which Polymorph isn't. Like that. This is cheaper than Polymorph. I think more effective than Polymorph. Oh my god, I love this card. This is
Synergy.
I think this is my favorite card from the new set, to be completely honest.
I love it. And synergy alert for it is if you just so happen to have the guy from the very start, like Fallen Hero, whatever his name is, then you ping it. If you need a removal,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause then it'll do 2
Ooh,
damage.
did that in Tavern Brawl
That's
too.
cool.
Just, oop, bye.
That's a cool. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Sweet.
Cool card. Cool card.
Cool card. All right, Beneath the Grounds. What do you think?
Is this?
That's
Shelton?
you. I think I just went.
No.
No?
Cora was before.
That was Cora. I just took over Cora. Sorry, Cora.
Oh,
I was
you're
so
fine.
convinced that was my card because I'm so madly in love with it. Okay. Beneath the Ground, shuffle 3 ambushes into your opponent's deck. When drawn, you summon a 4/4 Nerubian. This is like kind of unlike any other Hearthstone card we've ever seen before.
Card's ballin'.
It's kind
Yeah,
of cool.
love it.
I love the idea of all these things like we had the warrior legendary that shuffles the mine in Iron Juggernaut. We've had like with the gang up shuffling things into your own deck, but this is kind of the first time we've had something like this. I love that you get a 4/4 Nerubian. It's gonna be kind of cool with if you're like milling them. Even though you're giving them cards, it's kind of like making them draw more, and then you get the 4/4s from them.
And
Plus,
it's on their turn, so you can play it.
Yeah.
well, like draw. What is the ambush card? What does the ambush card do? Do we know?
It's
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do they
because-
draw it and then draw another card?
I don't know. If it's like the Iron Juggernaut Living Bomb, then that's not great. But if they draw the ambush and it's their entire draw,
Yeah,
that's
That's
so good.
insane.
That's really good. If it's the Living Bomb and they draw another card, it's like, nah. But if they lose their draw for that card, that's great.
That would be absolutely bonkers, which makes me think that they don't lose their draw. I don't know. We'll have to check
really
Twitter
hope
and
they
see what they tweeted out about that
Mhm.
one. Okay, now it really is Latoan. Worm Rest Agent.
Rest Agent, 2 cost, 1/4. Battle Cry, if you're holding a dragon, gain 1 attack and taunt, and this is a priest card that I would kill to be a paladin card. Like, just absolutely would sell an arm for this to be a paladin card. I love for dragons and just the synergy with it, but still, we've got some cool cards that are meant to, like, Twilight Well, whatnot. Me, I'm just hyped for the thought of trying to build a dragon deck around. I look at this card and I think, God, this would be so much better in paladin. But still excited to see how it goes. You'll see me toying around with an absolutely horrible dragon priest. I
Nice.
like the potential.
You need some Dragon Priest help? Call up Kevin Cookies. He is
Kevin
going
Cookies.
to. He's gonna rock the Dragon Priest. He is so excited. Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll have to put you guys in contact so you can do some brewing for Dragon Priest. That'll be good.
Too funny.
King's Elec. Oh,
This
love
card
this
is
card.
really good.
I love this
I
card.
was surprised by this card. This card's really good. 2 mana 3/2 Hunter minion, battle cry, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, draw it. Yeah, I mean it's a Bloodfen Raptor, but if you win the joust, it's not like your turn. It's not like your draw for the turn is to draw a King Crush into your hand. It's you get an additional draw. It's thinning out your deck, so it's saving you a draw that you don't want to have until later on, and it's putting that minion in your hand, so you automatically have it for later on.
Yeah. Oh,
And at worst, it's a Bloodfen Raptor,
so
and
much
it's really
value.
good. It's just really
So much
good.
value.
The Beast Hunter is real, y'all.
Yeah. And this is a beast. It doesn't say beast on this picture, but this is a beast.
Yeah.
It was a beast in the brawl. This is a beast.
Tavern Brawl.
Yeah. This is. Oh, I love this card. I love everything about this card. It's just so much value. I wish it were neutral. I know it can't be neutral, but I just love it. I think it's
Can you
great.
imagine Beast
Yeah.
Druid?
Oh my god, yeah, it'd be so good. Sparring partner. 2 for a 3/2 taunt battlecry, give a minion taunt. So this is the other warrior taunt combo piece that we were talking about earlier. I love that it has taunt itself. It's not necessarily the best 2-drop. I mean, you can drop it turn 2, 2 for a 3/2 taunt is still pretty good. But, I mean, if you really want to be giving it something else taunt, warriors aren't typically playing turn 1, anything. So maybe you'll be playing it a little bit later. It's going to take a little while to figure out what exact piece this plays in the taunt warrior, if taunt warrior winds up being a thing. But I'm super excited for this card to just exist for us to mess around with and see what we can make happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is pretty cool.
Yeah, very excited.
So look how cocky he is.
I know. That mustache, though.
It's like, come at me, bro. That mustache. Oh.
Stone Guard Lieutenant.
But, yeah.
Inspired, gain +1 health. I think it could be a solid staple in an Inspired deck. In the Tavern Brawl, I ended up having a lot of use for this guy. You get him out and he may die. Or you may get him to 3/3, you may get him to 3/4. It's just nice. He's a 2-drop. He's a solid 2-drop to me. I don't know what I could see him replacing that we're already using as 2-drops, but if you're running a deck that is centered around Inspire, I feel like he could be a really just nice body to get on board turn 2.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Pretty good. Good in arena.
Yeah, super good in arena. Love this card.
Good card.
Frigid Snowballs.
So frigid snowballed. I just think it's so funny that he's got a candle on his head and he's in the snow. And it's hysterical. 4 mana 2/6, neutral, spell damage +1. It's a bigger Kobold Geomancer.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, not bad. It's the stats scale nicely. So it's 2/6 plus the spell damage makes it like a 3/6, which is like normal 4 mana stats. I mean, I don't know that it's going to see as much use. I think people use the Kobold because it's smaller and they just want the spell damage as cheap as they can get it. But maybe in like a super spell deck. I mean, he's better than Ancient Mage.
Yeah,
So,
if we're going to
who
see
knows?
that spell damage with that spell damage card, and
We're
we're all going to run Soot Spewer, then maybe we'll run
Yeah,
Frigid Snowballs.
there you go.
Yeah, new
Since
meta.
we're at a-
Confirmed on
Confirmed.
Vicious
Yeah.
Games.
Next year, when you guys are sick of spell damage meta, you come back and watch this VOD and be like, they told us. They called it.
Be worried, guys.
Stable Master.
Is
I don't
this-
even remember. It's
Shall
me.
we?
Okay,
You
Stable
shall.
Master. 3 for a 4/2 battle cry. Give a friendly beast immune this turn. I don't know what I think about this card. I really like the art on it, actually. I love she's just like so adorable, and the unicorn, I don't know what it is in the lore. It's probably not a unicorn. The horned beast over there is just adorable. But I'm trying to think of if this has room in constructed. So we have that other card that's a spell that gives beasts immune and +2/+2, or +2 attack. I don't. I mean, that hasn't seen any play, but this is on a body, so that might be a little better. I'm not sure about it. I mean, the 3 for a 4/2 stats are fine. Yeah, I'm unconvinced if we're gonna see this in any beastie decks, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Bear trap.
With that said, Bear Trap I'm so hyped for. I'm so
Yeah,
hyped.
this is a good
I
card.
know a lot of people who aren't because they're like, oh man, this isn't great. But like, all I want, people have been saying forever that Face Hunter is awful. But the thing is, when it comes down to it, you've got like 2 really consistent kinds of hunter. You've got Face Hunter and you've got Mid-Range Hunter. But with this, it feels to me like they're really trying to push the potential for us getting a strong, well synergized Beast Hunter deck out there. Don't know how well it'll work. Definitely eager to try it, and definitely eager to have something to toy around with that isn't smart, go face. And I love the Bear Trap. Put out a beast, and it's anti-aggro in the sense that, like, well, now if they've been rushing your face, the first minion to hit, and now they've got to go through a 3/3. So I'm happy with this card. I like this card a lot.
Yeah. I will say this is the one card that Faramir rated highly in Shevik's entire stream. This is the one card. He's like, I love Bear Trap. And we're like, you've got to be kidding me.
Huh.
This is the one card out of everything. 132 cards. You love Bear Trap. But he loved it. Loves Bear Trap.
Okay.
Faramir approved, guys.
Okay. That's good to know.
No, it's a good card.
Yeah.
It's a good card.
I'm
Cool
excited for
secret.
more traps, yeah. Murloc Knight?
The Murloc Knight, 4 mana, 3/4, Paladin, inspire summon a random Murloc. Alright, let me just make this very clear. Murloc Paladin's not happening, guys. It's just not gonna happen. But
Gonna try.
we're gonna try. And the fact and the fact that this is summon a random Murloc, it doesn't have to synergize with anything. It just gives you another card that might potentially synergize with it. So it's sort of its own synergy. The fact that it's a 4 mana is a little shitty because, like, 3/4 is generally like 3 mana stats, but it's basically saying, all right, we're going to give you a 3/4 and we're valuing a random Murloc at 1 mana. And it's probably going to be worth more than 1 mana. So I don't know what Paladin deck's going to use it, but I'm going to try, and it might just be Secrets Paladin, and how freaking cool would that be?
Yes.
Yes.
And I've heard so many people crying, like, why is this a Paladin card that doesn't make sense? And, well, yeah, it could have been something else. Just be thankful this wasn't a neutral. Just thank the gods this wasn't a neutral, because I can tell you right now, Shaman and Warlock would be the worst things that you would ever have to deal with. Like, you would hate your life. So be grateful this is yellow
Yes.
and not gray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very excited. Stop trying to make Paladin Murloc happen. It's not gonna
Not going to happen. Murloc Paladin is never going to be a thing.
happen. Okay. Knight of the Wild, 7 for a 6/9. Whenever you summon a beast, reduce the cost of this card by 1. I think this is pretty cool. It's kind of like this. I mean, I don't know. In my head, it's sort of similar to like the Frost Giant thing. Is that like it's gonna sit in your hand and slowly be reduced over time, to the point like I know when Ben Brode and Frodan were playing it, he got this Knight of the Wild down to like pretty cheap, like 3 or 4 or something like that. So, I mean, we've been trying to be optimistic about Beast Druid, and I think this is a pretty cool addition. I'm not sure if it's exactly what we need, but yeah, I don't know if this is the hero that we need or the hero that we deserve.
It gives off. I wish that, like the giant that we saw earlier, that it was like for everyone you played maybe during the game, because this has to be in your hand to get that effect. And to me, it just feels like, yeah, that's going to be good if it hits the field and if it hits the field well. But I feel like it's going to end up taking a back burner like Bolvar. And I don't want that to happen. I want this to be a card that sees a lot of play and we have a lot of fun with. But it just seems to me that it's going to end up being a higher statted Bolvar that is going to be like, yeah, I like this card, but then we don't see him too much.
Right.
I hope otherwise, though, because it's a pretty cool card.
Yeah.
I like this card. I think I might give this a shot. So I'm gonna try the Beast Druid decks. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm definitely gonna put this in there. I think it's pretty good. Like Volcanic Lumberer is really good. Obviously, it's easier to kill minions than to play beasts. But I mean, there's a lot of beasts now. So
Yeah.
you never know.
More and more beasts now. for sure.
This card's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like
So-
it. Shaded Dealer.
The Shaded Dealer. All right.
Rogue. Battlecry, if you have a pirate team, 1/1. It's a 3-cost, 4/3. And like we were saying before, the Pirate Rogue. That's all on his own. Not super great, but I'm really interested to see the pirate synergy that rogues are going to attempt to sort of let off with. And this one buffing them up. I kind of wish that Captain's Parrot could be somehow buffed to be a little more relevant now. But still, I'm interested in the rogue. I keep saying rogue parrot. Rogue pirates. They're going to be a thing, you guys. It's going to be the next Grim Patron. It's going to be rogue pirates.
Oh
my
whoa.
gosh.
Fighting words.
Fighting
Agro pirate.
words.
Let's do this. No, I think this is great. I mean, 3 for a 5/4. If you can get it to go off, that's pretty sweet.
Definitely.
Kvaldir Raider.
All right, 5 mana, 4/4, Inspire, gain +2/+2. This is basically the Floating Watcher, but it's neutral. You could play it anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's going to be bananas in Arena. This is going to be really, really, really
Yeah.
good.
I'm not looking forward to
But
it.
I don't know. I think even maybe in just any Inspire, in an Inspire-centric deck, I think this could work.
Loved him in
I
Tavern
mean,
Brawl.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you're going to have more hard removal in Constructed than in Tavern Brawl, but I think
Also,
it's just a good card.
And he's
This
one
is-
that you can drop on turn 5 and not be as disappointed because he's in sort of like this safe niche at
Mhm.
4/4 where at least you feel like, okay, I may get one turn before he gets Shadow Worded or before he gets Big Game Huntered where I can just like hit the face or hit a minion for 6.
This is one of the ones I can see saving your 0-cost hero power from the Fencing Master. I can see saving that for this guy, making him a 5 mana
Oh.
6/6,
Yeah.
and then maybe because that's going to be safe most of the time. The next turn, maybe making it an 8/8 and hitting something. Yeah, I like this guy. I think he's good.
I am terrified for this card in Arena because Floating Watcher really, really made Arena, like, going up against Warlocks kind of unfun for me because Floating Watcher is just, like, really, really insane. So that this is a neutral common is absolutely terrifying to me. I don't know what the Arena meta is going to look like. I'm like, actually frightened for what this card is going to do to it. But Elemental Destruction. 3, deal 4 to 5 damage to all minions. Overload 5. Okay, so we're giving Shaman some bigger board wipes, so it has Lightning Storm already. Overload 5 is definitely the most overload we have ever seen ever. And so it's gonna take up your whole next turn, probably if you play it on turn 3 or turn 4 or turn 5. But I mean, I'm not sure if Shaman needed this. But maybe it did. I mean, it's kind of nice to have a Flame Strike. But it's all minions. It's not just
Yeah.
enemy minions.
Yeah.
It's all
I was
minions.
like, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, it's a higher Lightning Storm overload, okay. But then I read all minions, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, we're
No,
good.
it's a
We belong.
crazy Hellfire.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
Basically, like we talked about this before, if the Shaman loses the board, then the Shaman has a really hard time of coming back. So like Lightning Storm is good because it just hits your opponents and it can scale with your spell damage. So like most of the time your Lightning Storm is going to be like a 3 to 4 because you're going to save it for when you have a spell damage totem and when you can kill most of the stuff. So I just don't know if this is really necessary, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary either. Dalaran Aspirant.
Dalaran Aspirant.
Fire, gain spell damage +1. It's a 4-cost 3/5, and I guess all the things that I can say about this is it really makes me see sort of like the bare bones structure of maybe that Master of Ceremonies spell damage type deck. You've seen a few of the spell damage cards. But again, it has to be inspired to gain the spell damage, so it doesn't exactly synergize with like boom, it immediately has it. I don't know. Like I said, it seems to structure out. We're seeing a few cards that have a lot of spell damage archetype potential. Gonna have to see how it goes. Have to see how it plays out. It's a really awesome art. Love that on gold. The petals fall. It's really cool. So potential.
Potential. A little
Yeah.
bit slow.
Definitely going to be a different kind of deck.
Yeah, for sure. Wild Walker.
All right, 4 mana, 4/4 battle cry. Give a friendly beast plus 3 health. The arena player in me loves this because Temple Enforcer is so good. Temple Enforcer is so good in Priest, and this is basically the Temple Enforcer for Beast minions. So I think if you're playing a Beast Druid deck, you're definitely playing this card.
Yeah.
4 mana, 4/4 is pretty good. I think it's just an overall, it's a solid card.
Super
Like
solid.
I don't really have any complaints about it except that it's not a beast itself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that would be nice. But I definitely think it's worth playing in that Beast Druid deck.
Synergizes so well.
Bolf Ramshield, which is just the most hilarious name to me. Bolf Ramshield. When my roommate saw that, he said that it sounded like someone had put in like a name generator request and like the name just spat back out Bolf Ramshield. It sounds so
Ramshield.
ridiculous. So 6 for 3/9. Whenever your hero takes damage, this minion takes it instead. So it just sort of eats up the damage for you. It's like taunt, but also not like taunt, because like if you take 2 face damage from a hunter hero power, it's actually going to Bolf Ramshield. I think that's a cool mechanic. I think that's a cool idea. I'm glad they introduced that precedent. I'm not sure that that's gonna see play at all. The 3/9 stat is kind of weird. It's very, 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 very defensive, as the name Ramshield might indicate.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's a cool idea. I'm glad that they printed this card, even though I don't think I will play it.
It's an interesting card. I think it'll find some play somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe Priest decks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
yeah.
could be cool. Priest decks could
Yeah.
be cool.
Mm.
Or in some kind of aggro deck where it's like we just want to keep pumping out things. And
Mhm.
this would take
Oh.
soft on. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Arcane Blast.
Right, this is one that when I read it the first time, I was like, what? And then I was reassociated. I know a lot of people I saw in the comments for it on Facebook were like, no, this isn't okay. But then they sort of stopped and read it. So 1 damage, deal 2 damage to a minion. The spell gets double bonus from spell damage. So again, we're looking at that potential of it really pushing towards the spell damage archetype. Which, again, I'm really intrigued to just see how that plays out. And it's nice, so it can be a 2, it can be a 4. At 2, like you said before about one of the other spells, it's basically just like some of the spells we've seen in other classes that deal off 1 cost 2 damage. And then it has potential to be more. I don't know that it'll become a staple in all mage decks, but I think in like tempo or in potentially with the spell damage archetype, that it could see some play. And I think it's really interesting that this is the first spell. This is the first card I think that we've seen that's like this gets double bonus from spell damage, not just has spell damage like increased on its own. It's like
Right.
it's stacking upon spell damage. So I think that's an interesting new thing they're bringing into the game. And I like seeing things that happen for the first time
Yeah.
as we go through.
This is
I
the
like
same
this
with
one.
Malagos.
Oh, it's
Oh
it's
God!
absurd.
Imagine.
I like this one. I think it's sort of what Flame Lance was trying to be, like that crazy damage to a minion. But this is 1 mana, and you're not most of the time going to need 8 damage. You might need 4, you might need 6. And with this, I mean, this will definitely go in like a spell damage mage type deck. But this also synergizes really well with Archmage Antonidas. You play Archmage, you need to remove a minion to ensure your Archmage lives. And I mean, a lot of the time, you're going to trade your Arcane Shot or your Holy Smite into a minion anyway. You're going to use it to kill a minion. So I mean, if this is an Arcane Shot or a Holy Smite, fine, that's good.
Yeah.
And then in some cases, it can deal more damage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I still think, even though it can't hit face, I like this one. I think this one's pretty good.
Yeah. This is nice. Shadow Fiend.
Shadow Fiend, 3 mana, 3/3 priest epic. Whenever you draw a card, reduce its cost by 1. I really like this card. I can just imagine the possibilities of this card plus the girl and then the circle of healing on a bunch of minions. And then you draw a bunch of cards and they're all cheaper. It's like a tiny Tharasan, but for things that you draw. And I believe it does stack. So if you have 2 of these out, everything that you draw is reduced by 2. So I think it's a pretty good card. Even if you play this, it's 3 mana, 3/3, good body. And then you maybe it lives 1 turn and you draw 1 card, it's reduced by 1. Cool. You play this on 3 and then you draw a Sludge Belcher. There's your 4-drop.
Boom. Value.
Good.
And I think
Like really good.
3 drops. So other than because I mean you've got the Injured Blade Master, but that isn't a priest specific, and you've got the Dark Cultist, but that's 1 card. And I feel like this could be seen as a staple, just 3 drop for a priest because they have not had one that's really consistent,
Hmm.
nice body there other than Dark Cultist. It gives a little variety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like this. I think this is a good card.
Yeah. I'm on board. The Mist Caller, 6 for 4/4. Battle cry. Give all minions in your hand and deck +1/+1. What?
Yeah.
What? That's insane. I don't even care that it's 6 for a 4/4. I don't even care about the body because the battle cry is so freaking good. Like, sure. Oh, Corey disagrees with me.
I'm gonna break your guys' heart on this one.
Okay.
No,
I
go.
love
You
this
guys.
card.
You guys finish
No,
first.
that's it. That's all I have to say.
That's it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say against aggressive decks, this card is terrible. This card is so bad against aggressive decks. Your shaman's gonna be dead anyway before this card matters. Just because when this card enters the board, it's not doing anything immediately. And then you have to, I mean, if in a control matchup, this card's absurd. In a control matchup, you're going to have a permanent advantage over your opponent, and that's amazing. And that's when this card is amazing. But if you're playing this against an aggressive deck, they're going to be like, all right, I don't care. I'm going to kill you before any of those minions matter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Something
So-
else I could see happening sort of as a downside to this that I don't want, because I'm like Shelby, so hyped for this card, especially with my love for Shaman, but like I see it now, it being played, and it could work very well, and then people are going to start crying, and they're going to start whining, and I see that word battle cry changing to death rattle so fast. I see it, I feel it, if we're not careful, if it gets abused, and then it comes down to the silence, so then it really does become, I feel like this is a card that could get handled really well, but could also be in danger of a serious nerf in the future that could make it like basically unplayable, because no one's going to play a 6-cost 4/4 that can get silence before it means anything.
Right.
Just what I hope doesn't happen, but I could see that being a nerf more than I
Yeah.
want to admit. I can see that.
Especially if the meta slows down a lot, which I think it's going to. Or I hope it's going to anyway. Okay, here's Chilma. 7 for 6/6 taunt death rattle. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all minions. So this is a death rattle, which means your opponent doesn't necessarily know if it's going to be set off or not, and you might play it, and then it sits on the board for 2 turns, and then you draw a dragon, and you don't want the death rattle to go off, or you do. I think it has a high potential to be very, very, very awkward, and you might wind up wiping your own board by accident when you totally didn't want that to happen. So I don't intend to play this card, but I know Latoa likes dragons a lot more than I do. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, the same thing. Like initially, I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing. Look at it, it's perfect. It's a taunt, it's a dragon. It activates from dragons. But then, like you said, when you think about it, like this is one of those that could be so situational, like drawing a flame leviathan and it killing your board and not doing anything to your opponent. Like you don't know exactly what could happen from this dragon when it dies, how much damage is it going to do to you, or how much is it going to do to them. But still, in an aggro situation where you know you're going to have a whole bunch of minions that are flooding the field, still has a potential to be a really nice board wipe. It just, again, I feel like it's going to be a really situation. Super hyped about it, like I want it to be.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, all right. Last card. Last card.
I think we should wait for Cora to come back before we review the last card.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fair. This is here she is. All right, Cora, last card.
All right,
Last card.
I'm here.
Get hyped. Get hyped.
One
I'm
cost
hyped. I'm so hyped.
Spirit. Secret: when your turn starts, give your minions 1/1. We were just talking about paladins. We were just talking about their secrets. Here's a new one for the fold. But I have a question to pose for you guys because when I saw this, I don't know how I feel about what it could and could not do. Can this trigger to an empty board?
It cannot.
It cannot. Okay.
No. You have to have
That's
a
what
minion on your board for it to trigger. Yeah.
That's good.
Nice. Makes it a lot better.
Yes.
Good card.
All right,
I
now
like,
it's
this card.
fine.
I like this card a lot.
Now it's fine.
I think
This
it's a
is,
good card.
yeah, great with muster for battle.
Yeah.
Great with just like these like little swarmy decks. It's gonna be great with the new 6/6 Pally card
Mysterious
that
Challenger.
brings everything out. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm just glad to have one more like usable good Pally secret to stick into that deck. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Kazan's never leaving anyone's deck, is she? Ever after this meta, just like, nope, here you go, Kazan Mystic sitting.
Not if Secrets Priest is a thing.
Oh my god, secrets.
Secrets priest. All right, guys. That's it.
We
did
did
it.
We did it.
We
That took way
survived.
more than an hour.
It took
Oh
like
God.
double the time we thought it would.
It
See,
took 2 hours. Oh gosh.
it took like 3 hours. We started at
And
like
that was
10:50.
going quick.
And we tried to go very quickly. We tried,
Oh
you
my
guys.
gosh.
Apologies
All right.
for the Dragon and Shaman hype that is typically too long. For
Yeah. We might have giggled too much at, Ginger Hotties.
Varian
But-
Rin.
I think it was worth
Be
it.
still my heart,
I
Varian
don't
Rin.
regret a moment.
This was great.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so guys,
All right.
thank you so much for joining me for this, and I hope we can do more stuff like this again soon. We should definitely keep getting together to stream like this. It's been super fun. Chat,
Absolutely.
thanks you for watching and sticking with us this whole night, and thank you for your very entertaining comments. I was trying to read them through on my phone. If I wasn't responding to them, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's been real. Make sure you guys check out everything that we have linked down below if you want to check out Vicious Syndicate. If you want to check out, this is Cora. She is Sage Cora on Twitch.
Hi.
Her Twitter is CG Songbird if you want to go follow her. I'm Shelby Plays. I'm up here. I'm that everywhere. Latoan is also Latoan on Twitch and on Twitter if you want to go check her out. Yeah, just come say hi to us and let us know if you like this, if you want us to do more stuff like that. Yeah, all the hearts. Yep. And we will see you guys later. Have a great weekend.
All right.